Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. It is the final club commentary of the season on this channel before we are back in 3 weeks' time for the beginning of the Euros. And to finish off, we have the most expensive game in football as Leeds take on Southampton at Wembley in the Championship playoff final. A place back in the Premier League is up for grabs for both this afternoon. For Leeds, they overcame Norwich in the playoff semi-final after a 0-0 draw in the first leg. They destroyed the Canaries at Ellen Road in the second leg with a 4-0 win. Farke's side still not in amazing form, just 3 wins from their last 10, but the playoff semi-final have showed Leeds supporters that they can perform when it really matters. And after a boring 0-0 in their first leg for Southampton, the Hawthorns against West Brom, a 3-1 win in the second leg gave Southampton a ticket to the playoff final. The Saints have had a strong campaign under Russell Martin, but couldn't quite keep up with the top 3 despite a run of 22 games unbeaten in the league from September all the way through to February. But they have a chance at returning to the top division at the first time of asking after being in this division for back-to-back seasons. The last time that happened was from 2007 through to 2009. It was a Southampton double against Leeds this season, with the Saints winning 3-1 at home in late September and also winning on the final day at Ellen Road by 2-1 just around a month ago. Leeds are looking for a first ever playoff promotion after 5 failed attempts, and Southampton are looking for a win in their first ever playoff final. So which of these two sides will be promoted and which will be slumped in the Championship for another season? I think this is a really difficult one to try and predict, if I'm going to be completely honest. I think both sides are in okay form, not in fantastic form. They both kind of just stumbled over the line at the end of the season. But at the end of the day, it's a one-off playoff game. Anything can happen. Form can go out the window a little bit at times, because if you can't get your players up for a game of this magnitude, then you know what can motivate your players is a huge occasion, and it'll be down to who wants it more and who deals with the pressure more. You know, there's going to be nerves. It's a big game. It's, like I say, it's the most expensive game in football. You know, the money that you get in the Championship compared to the Premier League is absolutely huge, and it is completely sold out here. 85,000 fans are in the ground to see their team try and attempt promotion back to the Premier League. Leicester have already gone straight back up, but only 2 of the 3 teams that came down can go straight back up. It's going to be either Leeds or Southampton joining Leicester and Ipswich in the Premier League for next season. It should be a really interesting encounter, this. Both teams will certainly fancy their chances, that is for sure. Just 3 points separated these two teams at the end of the season. The final day was Leeds against Southampton at Ellen Road, and Southampton won 2-1. They took a lead in the 18th minute through Adam Armstrong, but 3 minutes later, Joel Piroux made it 1-1, and then right before half-time, Smallbone for Southampton gave them a 2-1 lead, and they kept that lead and took the 3 points. It didn't really mean much that day for Southampton because they were already in the playoffs and they couldn't get automatically promoted. But for Leeds, there was a slight glimmer of hope that if they won that last game of the season, they could be promoted automatically, but Ipswich won their game at home to Huddersfield. So for both teams, that last game really didn't have too much on it in the grand scheme of things, as both sets of players emerge out of the tunnel here at Wembley. Leeds in their home kit and Southampton in their away black and orange kit. Leeds being led out by their manager Daniel Farke and captain Ethan Ampadu, and for Southampton they're being led out by their manager Russell Martin and their captain Jack Stevens, who took the captaincy over from James Ward-Prowse in the summer. It's a little bit of a miserable day at the minute at Wembley. The rain is falling down, but it shouldn't really have too much an effect on the game. It looks absolutely fantastic. You've got the white scarves of Leeds on the left and the red of Southampton on the right. Both of these teams winning their playoff semi-finals after 0-0 draws in the first leg, both of them being played away, but then as soon as they took Norwich to Ellen Road and West Brom to St Mary's, both of these teams did the job that they needed to do to get that promotion, well, get that game in the final. And here is Ethan Ampadu, the Leeds United captain here, just at the age of 23, joining the summer from Chelsea. What a huge occasion it is for such a young footballer who has been around the block already during his career, as the rain is seriously pouring here at Wembley Stadium. There has been forecasted thunderstorms in England, so hopefully it doesn't get too much in the way. And then there's Jack Stevens as well, the Southampton captain. He's been at the club now since 2011, but spent last season out on loan at Bournemouth. But clearly Russell Martin saw that Jack Stevens could be a part of his plans for this season. Now at the age of 30, playing left back today. Jack Stevens keeping out Ryan Manning, who is on the bench for Southampton this afternoon. We have got the officials of referee John Brooks with his two assistants of Simon Bennett and Dan Rabathan, and fourth official of Tony Harrington. We've got VAR of Jared Gillett and assistant VAR of Darren Cant. Huge occasion for both sides, which will be promoted here. Ultimate finish yesterday. Yeah, it did finish 1-0 yesterday. Celtic doing the double, isn't it? They won the league and the cup, because I know Rangers won the League Cup earlier on in the season. But for Daniel Farke, he's usually used to being promoted via winning the league. He won 2 championship titles during his time at Norwich, but this time around he's going to have to do it through the playoffs. Daniel Farke is looking for his 100th win as a manager in the Championship. And for Russell Martin, he has experienced 5 promotions in his career as a player. He was promoted in the Championship playoff final with Norwich back in 2015 as captain. So he knows exactly how to get this job done as a player. Can he try and get that through to them as a manager? Pass on his experiences to his players in this occasion. As both sets of players now shake hands before the battle commences at Wembley Stadium. Hosted a lot of games recently. Wembley, all the non-league playoff finals, the FA Trophy, the National League playoff final. Then we've had the League 2, League 1 playoff finals played here already. And next week we've got the Champions League final between Borussia Dortmund and Real Madrid being played here. We had the FA Cup final yesterday played here. Weather was a little bit nicer, it must be said. But conditions don't matter in games like this. They are still going to be up for it. A little bit of rain won't quieten the fans down, that is for sure. They have made their travels here. For Leeds, it's a 7-hour round trip. And for Southampton, it's a 3-hour round trip on the roads. As it is really starting to pour at Wembley Stadium. Some of the fans will be covered. There's quite a large roof above. But it's definitely going to be soaking those players out on the pitch. As Leeds United gather for a team huddle. It'll be led by the captain, Ethan Ampadu. But they've got plenty of leaders in that squad, despite it being quite a young team, it must be said. It's a huge occasion for both. Leeds United in their 6th playoff attempt. Failed to be promoted via the playoffs in their previous 5. They've obviously not had a very good look in this route through for promotion. This is their 4th playoff final. They lost their first 3, unfortunately, in 1987, in 2006, and most recently in 2008. And for Southampton, this is their 2nd ever playoff campaign. This is their 1st ever final in a playoff campaign. The last time they were in the playoffs, they lost on penalties in the semi-final stage in 2007 to Derby County. But this time they're in the final and they want to try and go not just one step better by getting to the final. They want to go 2 steps better. They want to get to the final and win the final. But we'll have to wait and see. Leeds stand in their way. Thank you to everyone who is here. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be absolutely fantastic, as we're about to get underway here in the Championship playoff final. There's Leeds take on Southampton. Southampton have beaten Leeds twice already this season, home and away. Can Leeds change their fortunes against the Saints, or will Southampton complete a league treble over Leeds and get themselves back into the Premier League? These two teams were the two bottom sides in the Premier League last season. Leeds finished 19th, Southampton finished 20th. Who will get out on top this afternoon? As it'll be Leeds to kick off, kicking right to left. Southampton left to right here. As we are underway at Wembley Stadium. It's with the right back of Archie Gray for Leeds, who plays a high ball down the right-hand side here for Piru, who will give chase to the ball. The flag's gone up for offside. And in a left-back position, it'll be a Southampton free kick. And we are underway here at Wembley for the Championship playoff final. In terms of a record against Southampton, it's not a pretty one for Daniel Farker. He's faced Southampton 4 times as a manager and he's lost all 4 occasions. It's from the free kick. Southampton are giving it away. It's now Nonto on the right wing in the final third. He's got Aribo and Stevens trying to block his pass through to Grev, but he finds him. Grev 1-2 with Ruta, doesn't quite come off. Ruta's pass is misplaced towards the byline, but it's a quick start from Leeds United. It's a positive one, as they've already adventured into the Southampton 18-yard box. Didn't quite come off, but a poor giveaway that from Southampton from that free kick. Don't want to be giving Leeds United the possession in their own half, because we know how dangerous Leeds can be with that front 4 that they've got. Do apologise for that noise. It's Harwood Bellis, long ball forward for Southampton. Brooks will chase it. Firpo will get there first into his 18-yard box. Goes to Melier, who quickly clears away with his left boot. Up into the air it goes. Controlled by Somerville towards Kamara. Loses out to Kyle Walker-Peters. It's now on this near side for Southampton as it's just given away there by Somerville, as he was just knocked off the ball there by Downs. And it'll be a Southampton throw-in. And they throw it into their own half here with Taylor Harwood Bellis on loan from Manchester City for the season. If they are promoted, they have an option to buy the loanee from Manchester City. There's a ball down the left-hand side. It's a high one towards Ryan Fraser. Archie Gray controls it in the 18-yard box, takes it away from Fraser. Wants to play pass down the line, and he finds Nonto, who plays it back into Gray. Touches heavy, tackle by Downs, but the tackle's kicked out of play for a goal kick. And we're 2 minutes in here at Wembley. It's Leeds United 0, Southampton 0. Does seem like, I mean, the cameras might be slightly deceiving, but it does seem like the rain has slightly calmed down, as before kick-off the rain was really pouring on the hallowed turf of Wembley Stadium. As a right centre-back, it's with Rodon. Touches a bit loose, but he can just about keep it in. It's a high clearance, a long one up towards Ruta. Stevens, left-footed volley, drops to Fraser, deflects to Ruta, though, instead. It's now Leeds on the ball in the Southampton half, with Ilya Grev. Everyone behind the ball for Southampton, as it's back in the Leeds half here with Rodon. Goes to the left here to Firpo and then returns it here now to Ethan Ampadu, the number 4. Just made 12 senior appearances for Chelsea during his 6-year stint at the club. It's with Rodon into the midfield now to Ruta, allowed to turn forward, tackle from behind by Downs, advantage is played as the ball drops here to Gray, forward from right back, left-footed strike from afar, he just drags it wide of the post. Just a yard or so wide there from Archie Gray with his weaker left foot. Not a bad attempt, as he made a run inside from that right back position and was allowed to run forward with the ball. Southampton not getting close enough to him, and about 20 yards out, Archie Gray just dragged a left-footed shot wide of the bottom right corner, but it's definitely Leeds who've started the better in the opening 3.5 minutes. It's Leeds 0, Southampton 0, as they go long up to the halfway line towards Brooks. Touch off Firpo, throwing on this near side for Southampton. It'll be taken by their right back of Kyle Walker-Peters, whose only goal last season in Southampton's relegation season in the Premier League came against Leeds United in August 2022, formerly of the Spurs Academy. Kyle Walker-Peters. It's with Harwood Bellis, midway side zone half. Big switch out to the left into the Leeds half, looking for Fraser. Header won by Gray. Finds Nonto on halfway. Tries to go forward and gets away from Stevens, but Aribo is following him every way. Nonto turning back and playing the ball back to Gruev, then forward to Ruta, into Piru, just goes over his head. He'll chase it down towards this near side, but the ball will roll out for a throw-in. Right next to the corner flag. Starting to find their patterns here, Leeds. Just a Bit of a sloppy pass though there from Ruta, playing the ball off the ground. It was a bit too high for Piru. If it was to his feet, then there might have been an opportunity opening up there for Leeds to try and get their first shot on target. But this is the third second-tier playoff final between two teams that were relegated the previous season. The previous two was when Leicester and Palace faced each other in 1996, and then West Ham and Blackpool in 2012. So it does mean that one of these two teams will fail to get straight back up into the Premier League and face another season in the Championship. As mentioned before, the last time Southampton stayed in the Championship for 2 consecutive seasons was from 2007 to 2009, because once they got up back from League One, they were relegated from the Championship in 2009. And then as soon as they went back up into the Championship from League One, they went from League One to the Championship and then straight to the Premier League, where they had quite a long stay in the Premier League from 2012 to 2023. Southampton have conceded a free kick here, about 25 yards out on the left-hand side here, so no angle for a lead shot, but it's an inviting opportunity here for a cross. Looks like it's going to be either Somerville or Greve. You'll remember Greve scoring a free kick from the opposite side against Norwich to make it 1-0 around this minute in that semi-final second leg. But it's more suited for an in-swinging right-footed cross, but Greve is there as the left-footed option if they want to try something a little bit different. It's a two-man Southampton wall at the moment with Fraser and Brooks, the two wingers. High line for Southampton. Greve runs over it and Somerville delivers. It's a deep one to the far post as he overhits it. No, it's headed across goal and it's a volley away from Stevens in the 6-yard box. Kamara will chase it and he'll see it out for a throw-in for Leeds. Good defending by the Saints captain there, Jack Stevens, as it looked like the ball was slightly deep, too deep there by Somerville, but just about right and was kept in. But still no shot on target yet in this playoff final. Leeds 0, Southampton 0. There's Nonto on the right wing, driving inside, looking for a pass, goes back into the centre circle here to Ethan Ampadu. 5-yard pass to his right to his centre-back partner of Rodon. Completes a 1-2 with Greve. Then goes forward to Nonto, flicks it to Ruta. Back to Nonto. Brilliant football. Nonto, edge of the box, left-footed, shoots towards goal. Just knocks off balance slightly. Not enough for a free kick, but comfortable save for McCarthy in the end. Straight at the Southampton number 1. He's now 34 years of age. That's come in later on in the season for the injured Bazunu. It's Kyle Walker-Peters battling with Firpo. Kicks it out towards Brooks on the right wing, but he's beaten to it by Ampadu, his Welsh teammate. And it's now Leeds on the ball. Defensive third with Firpo at left back. Goes forward to Greve. Plays it inside to Somerville. Touch isn't great, but he can just about keep it away from Smallboat. And it's Leeds United again, who keep themselves in possession of the football midway inside their own halfway with the right centre-back of Joe Rodon. Now Rodon lifted ball down the right-hand side. Nonto challenged off the ball. Referee doesn't see it as a foul as Bednarek turns away from Ruta and plays it forward here to Jack Stevens. Down the line, it's a poor ball cut out by Nonto. Inside now for Ruta on the edge of the box. He enters the box, tries to go around Bednarek, who can just about kick it away from Ruta. And he can eventually clear it down the Southampton left towards Fraser over his head and out for a throw-in for Leeds, who are trying to keep this pressure going on this Southampton defence, who are struggling at the moment to deal with the movement of the Leeds attackers. As it's a ball forward to Ruta, goes down over the challenge of Bednarek, nothing given by the referee. Ball passed back to the Southampton goalkeeper in a turquoise blue goalkeeper kit today. That's Harwood Bellis, low ball forward to Smallbone, helps it onto Brooks, tackle from behind by Firpo, and that will be a foul. Bit of a late one here. I think he caught the Achilles of David Brooks on loan from Bournemouth, brought in the January window. And it's now, let's have a look. It was more of a Firpo slip than anything. Yes, he caught Brooks, but yeah, like I say, just more so slip there, Junior Firpo, who also scored last season against Southampton in the Premier League. It was a 1-0 win at Ellen Road back in February. So it's Southampton on the ball again, with Taylor Harwood Bellis bringing the ball forward, playing it beyond the halfway line to Adam Armstrong. Feel like it's his first touch of the game, and it was a loose one, given away to Piru, who now takes it on the turn and skips away from the challenger Harwood Bellis, but tackled by Downs, but he kicks it straight through to Somerville. Tries to go in behind for Nonto with a ball outside of his boot, but it's been cut out by Bednarek on the edge of the box. That's now with the right back of Kyle Walker-Peters. Drives into the 18-yard box. He's got Somerville chasing him from behind, but he keeps it away from the Leeds number 10. It's now with Ryan Fraser. Ball inside to Downs. Midway side zone half. Piru's chasing him, but Downs has the pace to keep away from him for now. Cuts it back and then lays it off to Aribo. It's now with Bednarek. And it's Southampton who can have a little bit of time here now on the ball. If Southampton score today, it'll be their 100th goal in the season in all competitions. And Leeds can also hit the 100 goal mark if they score twice. As Taylor Harwood-Bellis tries to pass the ball backwards there. Closed down by Reuter. And the pass backwards goes out of play on the near side. It will be a Southampton throw-in. Just needs to be playing it a little bit quicker there, Taylor Harwood-Bellis. Stockport-born centre-back. Of course, it was Stockport in the headlines again yesterday after Kobbie Mainoo's FA Cup final goal and man of the match performance as well. Southampton on the far side. Just inside their own half here with winger Ryan Fraser. Returns it back to Stevens. It's just a little bit of a... I wouldn't say it's nervy. I just don't think they've quite found their bearings yet in this game, Southampton. Not quite found their patterns of play like Leeds have. And the reason Leeds won so emphatically against Norwich was the fact they just played without fear, and they're doing that again today. But here's Southampton's chance through Adam Armstrong, fed through by Fraser, tight angle, pulls it back just behind Smallbone, falls back to Adam Armstrong, who shoots again on the angle, blocked by Ampadu. Flag stays down. Fraser now on the left wing, goes to the edge of the box to Aribo, tries to play it through towards Adam Armstrong, cut out by Kamara. Gray clears just about, helped away by Nonso. It's now Bednarek down the left-hand side to Aribo. Southampton's first real sight at the Leeds goal. Shot there from Armstrong, who's not quite been involved in the game as of yet. It's on the halfway line with Bednarek. 1-2 with Downs. Bednarek will now bring it forward himself there into the space and out to the left here to Aribo. Touch in front of him's nice. And he slips it through towards Armstrong, cut out by Rodon on the edge of the box. But as Aribo slipped the ball through, he's pulled down by the shirt. The referee's given a free kick here on the edge of the box. It was a brilliant switch out there from Harwood-Bellis to find Aribo to start the original attack. He played it out to the left to Fraser and then slips it through for Armstrong, who was well onside. And on the angle, he's gone to pull it back towards Smallbone. And it was really well intercepted by the sly challenge of Rodon. But it shows what Southampton can do when they find the spaces, especially in behind for the likes of an Adam Armstrong, who's got 23 goals this season in the Championship. 2 of them in that second leg semi-final against West Brom. And we've got another donation, Jim, but honestly, it's every stream, it's crazy. Very much appreciate it. Of the 2 teams which you think is best set to stay in the... Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. Give me a minute to think about that and I'll give you a proper answer. That's a good question. I don't know. Let me have a think. Let's see what happens with this free kick and then I'll give you an answer. That's a good question. So it's about 25 yards out. It's the right foot of Smallbone who can shoot, but I think he might fancy a cross instead. He'll shoot, in fact, towards the top left corner, and it's palmed behind by Meslier for a corner. Going towards that top left corner, it was a comfortable save, really. Meslier went with the 2-man wall, and he was always going to get to the ball there. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad free kick at all. It was on target, it was going in the goal, but just lacked the pace, and Meslier was quickly across to make sure that didn't go into the back of the net. As it's Smallbone with a delivery, and it's a attempted punch by Meslier, but he completely missed it, and it swung out of play for a Leeds United goal kick. So both teams now have applied pressure on each other's goal. Southampton, the most recent team to do it there with that attack with Armstrong with the pullback towards Smallbone, who did actually score in that semi-final as well. Armstrong got 2 and Smallbone got the first. And he played every minute in the 2 legs in the playoff semi-final. Will Smallbone, who's making his 50th appearance of the season. 70 altogether for Southampton. As Grev plays it to Kamara, just inside the Leeds half at the moment. Goes out to the left here to Somerville, who's midway side the Southampton half. Drives the ball forward. He's got Firpo on the overlap. He'll go forward to Piru instead on the edge of the box. He's got his back to goal. And he's tackled by Smallbone, but it drops to Kamara. Still Leeds on the ball in the Southampton half. It's on the halfway line here with Ampadu. To the right here to Rodon. Plenty of time on the ball here for the number 14. Interesting to see what his future holds for Joe Rodon, who is on loan from Spurs at the moment, and his contract at Tottenham expires in 2025. So we've still a year left on his Tottenham deal. During half-time topic, that's a great shout. So you better this live streaming stuff than I am. That's a great idea. We'll save that to half time. Yeah, we'll save that and we'll have a real think about that question because, like I said, that's definitely an interesting one to have a think about. As it still leads on the ball, they're in their 18-yard box now at the moment with their captain Ampadu, who's took the armband off Cooper at the moment, who's not quite been featuring for Leeds United. This Somerville's pass out to Firpo on the left, just gone behind him. And it'll be a Southampton throw in about 10 yards inside the Leeds half on this near side. Just trying that one-touch football, but the Somerville ball just behind Firpo. So it's a throw in here for Kyle Walker-Peters, who throws it to the halfway line here to Harwood Bellis. Ball into the midfield to Aribo. And then back to the number 35 of Jan Bednarek, who has been booked in both of the meetings between these two sides this season already, home and away. See if he'll get another yellow card this afternoon. As Brooks, ball forward into the 18-yard box. And straight through from Melier. Armstrong was never making that run into the 18-yard box. The ball went towards the right side of the box and Armstrong was peeling out to the left, so it's not quite on the same wavelength there, but you can see what Southampton's trying with these spaces in behind the Leeds defence, as it's right back Gray into Nonto. Feeds it back to Gray. Now in the centre circle with Kamara. Grev. Back to Rodon. Nonto's gone down here. And the referee is just going to pause play. And it does look like Nonto is in a little bit of pain here. I think he's holding his lower back. He was just holding up the ball there as he relayed it into Gray. So he might have just got a knee in the back possibly. Yeah, just a little bit of a knee in the back there from Stevens. Well, not a foul for me. Like, you're going to feel it. It's not, I don't even think that was a knee. It seemed like more of a thigh or a hip going into Nonto's lower back. I'm sure the Italian will be okay to continue and he'll get back to his feet. But 16 minutes in here at Wembley, it's Leeds 0, Southampton 0. Both teams have been getting into the final third. It's been a rather even start to this playoff final, it must be said. So the referee will just drop the ball here, I presume, to Joe Rodon at right centre-back for Leeds United, who had the ball as the sun starts to shine here at Wembley after a bit of a downpour just before the beginning of the game. So we're back underway here. It's Elon Melier for Leeds in front of his 18-yard box. Finds Ampadu back into Melier. Being closed down here by David Brooks. And with his right foot, Melier will send a high ball forward up towards Pirou, who will lose out to Bednarek. But the header drops to the right here to Nonto. Tries to lift it over the top in the box for Pirou. But it's a misplaced pass. And into the gloves of Alex McCarthy, the Southampton goalkeeper, who's experiencing his second playoff campaign in the Championship. He was part of the Reading squad in 2011, who lost the final to Swansea 4-2, but during those playoff runs, McCarthy never actually played a minute. So this is his first real taste of playoff football in terms of being on the pitch, but he has been involved in a squad that have lost in the playoff final. Southampton have given it away already. Armstrong this time in the midfield area, losing the ball for Southampton. It's now in the centre circle with Rodon, 1-2 with Kamara. It's now with Ampadu coming out to this near side with Firpo, 5 yards inside the Southampton half. Goes forward to Somerville, who returns it to Firpo, and then back into the Leeds half we go here with Ampadu. And then back once more all the way to Elon Melier. And for Leeds, they've gone one better than they have in the previous two playoff campaigns. They'd been beaten in the semi-finals the last two attempts, most recently in 2019 to Derby, and then before that was in 2009. But never promoted via the playoffs in 5 attempts. It's not the record Leeds want, and they want to change it today. Somerville in the final third tries the 1-2 with Ruta. Need away there by Smallbone, and Somerville will keep the ball for Leeds on the near side. Being chased down by Smallbone, skips away from him, and then pokes it inside to Grev, and then forward to Somerville. Brilliant 1-2. Somerville goes for the extra pass to Nonto, does deflect out to him in the end, and lays it out to Gray. Slide challenge from Fraser, wins the ball back for Leeds. Then Gray dives in and wins the ball back, and then Aribo wins it back, and then Gray wins it back, and Gray eventually puts the cross into the far post where it's gone beyond Ruta. It'll be kept in on the near side here by Kamara. 1-on-1 with Walker-Peters, finds Ruta just inside the box on the left-hand side, going towards the byline. Trying to find the pass through to Kamara, lifts it towards him just over here in the end, and David Brooks in the box is tripped, and it's a free kick for Southampton, just about given away there by Somerville. But that was the rather hectic couple of minutes there in the 18-yard box there for Leeds, especially on that right-hand side when the ball deflected to Nonto, and then there was A challenge from a Southampton player, then Leeds won it back, then Southampton, then Leeds. It was back and forth there. No team could keep the ball for the moment. But again, no real danger at Alex McCarthy's goal there, which Southampton will like. But I don't think they'll be liking how easy Leeds are finding it at the moment in the Southampton half, keeping the ball. But they've not conceded yet. Still 0-0 here at Wembley. Just less than 20 minutes in. It's Jack Stevens coming into a more central midfield position from left back, inverting into the midfield. It's now to this near side. It's Kyle Walker-Peters trying to go out wide to the right here. He's got Brooks in support, and he'll find David Brooks, who takes the ball inside onto his stronger left foot. Goes back to Stevens, who goes back once more here to Harwood-Bellis. It's now on the halfway line with Bednarek. Harwood-Bellis again, giving time on the ball by the Leeds attackers, who are just sitting off at the moment. Taylor Harwood-Bellis back into Downs. It's Harwood-Bellis again. Down the line for Walker-Peters. No real option down the line, so has to go inside to Brooks and gets the return there. It's on the halfway line with Bednarek. Nonto getting forward towards Stevens as he finds Walker-Peters now in the centre circle, keeping it away from Piru. And finding the ball to Smallbone. Can't work it out wide to Brooks. He's won it back there, Somerville nicely. And it's a free kick for Leeds. Just pulled back from behind there, Somerville, by Smallbone. And Somerville was named the Championship Player of the season. 3 Leeds players got in the team of the season. Ampadu, Somerville and Ruta. As for Southampton, it was Walker-Peters who got himself into the Championship Team of the season. Still 0-0. As the rain has cleared and the sun is now shining. There is Russell Martin, who started his managerial career at MK Dons, leaving in July 2021 to join Swansea, where he took charge of 99 games, winning 36 and losing 37 before finding a job here at Southampton. And he's had a decent first campaign, 29 wins so far from 53 matches, nearly scoring 100 goals on 99 at the moment in all competitions this season. As Ruta has a bit of space now in the Southampton half as he brings it forward, options right and left, 25 yards out, goes out to the right to Gray. Nonto's making a run ahead of him. Gray gets onto his left foot and swings across, and it's an inviting delivery in, and Somerville couldn't quite get up for the header, and it was just slightly overhit there for Firpo, who tried to get there late at the far post. Not a bad delivery though by Archie Gray, the 18-year-old, who is the youngest ever player for Leeds to play here at Wembley. Born on the 12th of March 2006. Yeah, there we go. And he has overtook his dad Andy as the youngest Leeds player to play at Wembley. I mentioned it before, but his dad Andy played for Leeds, his granddad Frank, his uncle Eddie as well. So yeah, he's overtaken his dad's record in terms of being the youngest Leeds player to play at Wembley. It's now Southampton from the goal kick. With the far side here with Joe Aribo, brought in when they were in the Premier League from Rangers. He has scored in a big final already in his career, Joe Aribo, when he scored the opening goal in the Europa League final for the Gers back in 2022. Wasn't meant to be though that night, as they were defeated on penalties in the end by Eintracht Frankfurt. Southampton have it on the halfway line here with Taylor Harwood-Bellis. It's his 5th loan since January 2021, so he's been around the block already in his young career. Smallbone slips it through for Armstrong in the box, 1-on-1 with Meslier, and he finds the bottom left corner. The flag stays down. I'm pretty sure he's onside. And Adam Armstrong again scored twice in the playoff semi-final to get his team to this final, and now he's giving them the lead against Leeds United. Just the last 5 or so minutes, Southampton have started to have more of the ball, finding more spaces. And Armstrong is so good at that, just finding little pockets and spaces in behind. And he's so onside. Smallbone finding it about midway inside the Leeds half. And he knew that Adam Armstrong would be making some run into space. And he slips it through the legs of Ampadu. Armstrong got away from Gurev, but it was Rodon and Gray who both played Adam Armstrong well onside. And there was never a doubt that Adam Armstrong was not going to finish that chance. Full of confidence after that semi-final second leg where he scored twice. That's now 24 league goals in the season for Adam Armstrong. What a time to score. And at Wembley in this Championship playoff final, it's Leeds United 0, Southampton 1. Adam Armstrong with the opening goal of the game. Leeds were just allowing Southampton more time on the ball, and they found that little gap in the midfield to Will Smallbone. And then he just played it through once more through the legs of Ampadu to find the run of Armstrong. He was all alone. Had all the space in the world as well in the box. Took it really well. Across goal. Drilling it low. Meslier with no chance really. And it's Leeds who trail in this playoff final. They just don't like the playoffs, this club. Not at all. And Adam Armstrong with the goal. That's now 5 goals against Leeds for Adam Armstrong. They've all come now in his last 4 Championship games against them. Scored twice at home against them this season and then once away at Ellen Road as well. And he gave Southampton the lead the last time these two sides met on the last day of the season. Made it 1-0 in the 18th minute, but this time he's made it 1-0 in the 24th. Leeds did equalise 3 minutes after, but it looks like that might not be the case this time around. Just really poor from Leeds to not push up the way they did. The two left-sided defenders were, I'm presuming, in the right line, but then Rodon and Gray on the right side were just strangely deep. It was just seemed a bit disconnected, which is not what you want from your back four. As Southampton come forward again on this near side, it's David Brooks keeping it away from Somerville and finding Downs. Through for Adam Armstrong, then out to the right here to Kyle Walker-Peters, who's one-on-one with Firpo. Wants to try and enter the 18-yard box. He does, and he finds a cross which deflects into the side netting. And it's a corner on this near side for Southampton. Come on, Southampton. As, of course, in fairness, it depends what team you support and who you want to come up into the Premier League, because, at the end of the day, do Manchester United fans want Leeds back in the Premier League to take them on twice to kind of reignite that rivalry again? Or do you want to see them be defeated in the playoff final as a corner tried to be worked from the training ground, but it's not come off? A low ball to the edge of the box, and Leeds can try and break with Archie Gray's ball out to the left. He had 3 options of Nonto, Kamara and Somerville, but the ball went straight and wasn't curled in behind. Southampton on the ball on the edge of the box now with Harwood Bellis. They tried a low ball to the edge of the box from the corner, dummied by Smallbone, but it was just flicked away by Leeds and it sent Gray away. But they couldn't quite make the most of the opportunity. That's now Brooks' chested touch and over the head of Firpo. That's brilliant. A trip there from Firpo. No, says the referee there on the halfway line as Brooks has stayed down holding his face. I don't think the referee's quite buying it, as it's Gray at right back. Finds Nonto on the angle, still on the halfway line for Leeds. Back into his own half here to Joe Rodon, as it's David Brooks who's still down at the moment, and eventually the referee will blow. As Leeds are just on the ball in their own half. They were really not doing anything that meaningful, so it was a good time to stop the play. I'm not quite sure what's happened there to David Brooks. It didn't look like there was much in that, hence why the referee didn't give a foul. We'll just have to see a replay here for David Brooks, who's had a really good first season back in professional football. He was diagnosed with cancer back in October 2021 and returned in March 2023. He scored his first goal back in September 2023 this season against Brentford. So really happy ending to his cancer story. Fighting it, surviving it, and returning to football at one of the highest levels, playing in the Premier League for the first half of the season, then being sent out on loan to Southampton for the second half, and he's had a really good impact whilst he's been at the club, but at the moment he's down with a little bit of an injury. Not quite sure what the injury is. It must be said, there was a trip, but it doesn't look like it's anything wrong with his with maybe an ankle problem from a trip. It looks like maybe either a muscle or even a shoulder it looked like he may have been holding. I'm not entirely sure. As we're just less than half an hour in here. It's Leeds 0, Southampton 1. Adam Armstrong with the goal. It just had to be Adam Armstrong on fire this season. That is his 80th championship goal as well of his career. As for David Brooks, I think it's his left arm. Yeah, left arm, left shoulder. Maybe the landing from the tackle from Firpo. It definitely wasn't a foul. To me, it didn't look like a foul anyway. As they do have options on the bench. They have two wingers of Kamaldeen Sulemana. They've also got Samuel Edozie. And then two striking options of Che Adams, who's got himself back into the team for this final. And then Ross Stewart as well, who's been plagued with injuries the last year of his career. But he's back on the bench. But we're underway. Again, Leeds on the ball. Can't quite see David Brooks back on the pitch as of yet. As Leeds have it here with Nonto wanting to go forward but being forced backwards by the press of Fraser. And it's now with Joe Rodon in the centre circle. Still can't see Brooks as he plays the ball through to Somerville. And it's now Firpo who's made the run ahead of him, and he'll find Firpo, sending him towards the corner flag. Firpo keeps it in and plays a pass back here to Somerville. Still no Brooks yet for Southampton. Somerville playing it inside here to Kamara. Brooks now back on the pitch and almost taking it off Kamara. But he just about keeps it moving now. It's on the far side here with Gray. Finds Grev in the midfield, in the centre of the park. Having to go back to Rodon. Sends it to his right here to Grev. Turning away from Downs. Finding Gray. Back through towards Grev, but gives it away to Aribo. And then Aribo's tripped by Grev. And Southampton win a free kick. Definitely coping with the Leeds play a lot better now. The Southampton defence, the first 10 or 15 minutes, they were just looking a little bit lost in terms of all the runs that these Leeds attackers were making, but now they've definitely got a foothold in the game, dealing with the Leeds attacks better and keeping the ball nicely, playing through the Leeds team pretty well. I hope Southampton keeps playing win and not think. Yeah, exactly. I think Russell Martin, his brand of football, is definitely not sitting back too much on Leeds. Trying to gain on them when they do find a lead in the game. Walker Peters from right back, just overrunning it there on the near side. Yes, he has. And it's going to be a throw in on the halfway line for Leeds United. Thrown back there by Firpo to Ampadu, and it just looks like they've lost that little bit of drive in the game here. Leeds United, who had only won 2 of their previous 8 games in the Championship before the playoffs. Now they've got 3 in the last 10. So they've not come into this in great form overall. Of course, that 4-0 win in that second leg of the semi-final is going to give them loads of confidence. But they are behind here, Leeds United. There's definitely a problem here for David Brooks with his left arm. Not sure if it'll be anything serious enough where he has to be withdrawn from the game. It's Archie Gray at right back. Lifts it down the right-hand side towards Nonto. Volleyed away by Fraser. Headed back forward by Gray towards Nonto, who takes a touch inside. Can he get around Fraser? No, he can't. It's been dealt with there by Bednarek. And it's a throw-in in the final third here for Leeds United. On the far side, good defending there by Jan Bednarek. As Gray throws the ball back here towards the halfway line to Rodon. It's now Kamara. Back to the Southampton goal. So goes into Ampadu, the captain. Looking out to the right-hand side. Instead goes in behind for Nonso. Balls over the top. Just overhit, though. Bounces off the grass. And the gloves there of Alex McCarthy. It does look like we're going to get a Southampton change shortly. David Brooks landing awkwardly on his arm after a challenge from Firpo. As Somerville intercepts a poor ball by Bednarek, but it drops to Downs. And Southampton have it in their defensive third here with their right-back Walker Peters. Finding Taylor Harwood-Bellis, whose clearance cannons off the head of Piru. And it's a throw-in a right-back position for Southampton. Definitely looks uncomfortable with that problem he's got, David Brooks, and it looks like he'll be replaced shortly by Samuel Edozie. His Leeds have won it back 1-2 there between Smallbone and Brooks. Didn't come off, but Kamara's run out of room. And yeah, Brooks goes down, and this is going to be an early end to his playoff final. It's devastation for the Welshman, who's probably making his last appearance in a Southampton shirt, as he's only on loan from Bournemouth, joined in the January. And he will have to be replaced there by Samuel Edozie, brought in last season from Manchester City for £10 million. He was an England under-20 international. Spent 3 years at Manchester City, making 1 appearance for City here at Wembley in the Community Shield final when they were defeated by Leicester City. So an early change for Southampton. It's been forced upon them. David Brooks, the right winger, is off and he'll be replaced by number 23, Samuel Edozie, who's coming on for his 60th Southampton appearance. He scored 6 goals since he joined in September 2022. And Edozie, who's usually a left winger, will just operate on that right-hand side. And it is heartbreak for Brooks. He clearly looks emotional as his day comes to an end, but he's leaving the pitch with his side ahead. 35 minutes in, it's Leeds 0, Southampton 1 at the moment. As we're back underway here, Downs with ball down the line, can't quite find Edozie. Rolls out for a Leeds throw in here. As he will walk around the pitch, David Brooks being applauded by the Southampton supporters who have travelled all the way here to Wembley to hopefully see their team find promotion again for the first time through the playoffs. As the ball out to Gray on the right, it's just gone behind him. And it's hard to play for a Southampton throw-in. Nonto apologises for the poor ball to his teammate. But yeah, for Daniel Farke, 4 games against Southampton and 4 defeats. It's not what you're not what a record you want. Of course, it's a different Southampton side he's facing this season compared to the one he faced in 2019-2020 in the Premier League when he came up against Hasenhüttl. Southampton is they've got a chance to equalise here. Somerville out on the right-hand side. Tackle from behind fairly there by Downs. Just kicked the ball away from him. It's now in the 18-yard box with Stevens. Tries to switch out to the right towards Edozie. Header won by Firpo instead. But he's gone straight to Walker Peters at right back. Just outside the 18-yard box. Tries to clear it. Comes off Piru. And the ball will roll out for a throw-in for Southampton. Dealt with that well there. Don't want to give it away in their own defensive third. That is for sure. Thanks to everyone who is here. If you are enjoying, make sure you do like and subscribe and get involved in the chat if you want to. If you want to ask any questions or put your thoughts on the game so far. So Southampton bringing it forward from their 18-yard box with Harwood Bellis, who's played every minute this season against Leeds, home and away, and at Wembley at the moment. They play ball out to left towards Aribo. Touch isn't great, and it gives it to Gruev. Midway side his own half, goes back to Gray, but Gruev was pulled as he was trying to play it to Gray. So free kick given. Leeds now on there in their own half with the ball, with their left back Firpo. Not got loads of options. Has to go back here into Ampadu. And then across the 18-yard box here to Rodon, whose only career goal came last season during his loan spell at Stade Rennais in France in August 2022. It's now with Meslier on the edge of the box, not being pressed at the moment, so he's got time on the ball. And he plays out to the left back here, Firpo. He's got Ampadu inside, and he'll find Ampadu on the ball here. Again, time on the ball for the Leeds players here. It's now with Elon Meslier making his 175th Leeds appearance, joined in August 2019. Permanently in July. Spent season on loan. It's great. Trip there by Downs. And that'll be a free kick for Leeds in their own half on the far side. No card given by the referee, John Brooks. But just a little talking to there to Flynn Downs, who's on loan himself from West Ham for the season. This is his 220th professional appearance of his career. Joined West Ham last season for £9 million from Swansea. Has worked under Russell Martin before at Swansea. Flynn Downs. That's now Ruter. Turns away from Bednarek and he's fouled. That's a heavy one. Quick feet from Ruter. Bednarek couldn't deal with it, and that will be a yellow card. And it's probably a rightly given one. We mentioned before how Yad Bednarek has been booked in each of the 2 games between these two sides already this season. That's 3 and 3. Booked again. Should have put money on that, really. But it's Leeds on the ball. On the halfway line on his near side with Firpo out wide now to Somerville, 1-on-1 with Kyle Walker-Peters, who's forcing him to go backwards. And it's been given to Firpo. It's now Ampadu, midway inside the Leeds half, playing the ball forward to the halfway line. It's a great turn from Kamara. And then out to the right here to Gray, who's got space to bring the ball forward for Leeds United. Slows it down, though, and Southampton have got everyone behind the ball, bar Adam Armstrong. Now he's behind the ball. Really defending well here, Southampton, it must be said. It's Junior Firpo. Tries to play ball through to Somerville on the edge of the box, but cut out by Smallbone. Throw in for Leeds. 5 minutes left of the first half. It's Leeds 0, Southampton 1. Somerville with the ball on the left-hand side towards the byline. 1-on-1 with Walker-Peters. He gets onto his right foot, then tries to go on the outside with his left. Edozie now trying to stop him. The left-footed cross eventually is made, but blocked by Walker-Peters, and that'll be a corner for Leeds on this near side. So couldn't quite find the room to find the right cross there, Somerville, so ended up just kicking it off Carl Walker-Peters. Somerville, right-footed, in-swinger towards the goal. It's a one-handed punch by McCarthy. Drops to the edge of the box here to Gurev, who heads it back into the 18-yard area here. Will it drop to a Leeds player? Kamara trying to force it home. And it was well cleared there by Bednarek, but there's a flag up for offside anyway. Kamara almost poking that one home. Not a bad ball by Somerville into the 6-yard box, dealt with decently by McCarthy with the punch. And Gurev headed it back into the box. There was a flag up on someone, or is a foul, maybe a pull? I'm not too sure. Might have been a pull there on one of the Southampton players by Kamara, who tried to get to the ball. But whatever's happened, it's a free kick for Southampton. They've got it in their 18-yard box with Bednarek being closed down by Piru. Goes to the right to Harwood Bellis. Ball down the right-hand side here towards Edozie. Makes it stick for now and tries to flick it into a small bone, cut out by Kamara. Straight to Downs. He then gets his pass deflects off Kamara to Gurev. And now Leeds can have it again in the Southampton half here on the left wing. Somerville finding Rutu, who's just drifted out to this wide area here and takes it down the line and gets a low ball in. It's a poor touch firstly by Harwood Bellis. He eventually heads it away here, straight to Somerville. Leeds can continue the pressure, but Somerville overruns it. Tackled by Edozie, and it's two players going in for that challenge. It was a big one, but both are okay, and we're still playing here with Harwood Bellis clearing it on the edge of the box. Can't quite find Edozie, who did just find a chance to poke that ball forward, but straight to Ampadu on the halfway line. But that challenge, I think, from Downs and Gurev, both of them went sliding in, and it was a fair challenge from both, and both got up straight away and continued. As Nonso, 25 yards out, surrounded by black and yellow shirts, and he's tackled, and then eventually the ball nearly drops in the box as a Rebo's tackle went backwards, and it was eventually cleared by Southampton on the penalty spot. But Southampton having to do defending now. Leeds have grown back into the game. They were just a little bit off it for that little bit of a spell where Southampton took the lead through Adam Armstrong in the 24th minute of the game. It's now on the halfway line with the right back of Archie Gray being forced to go back here with Fraser chasing him down. Gray driving into a more central area. Fraser still chasing him. Gray goes back in the end to Ampadu. And then out wide to the left to Firpo. Well worked there by Leeds, who now are in the Southampton half. And Ruter's got space in the midfield. Can turn forward. Downs is trying to stop him, but he can't. Ruter in the box, plays it through. Firpo tackle. Drops towards Somerville, who slides in on Harwood Bellis. And that's been given as a foul. And a card will be shown here for Somerville. A yellow card given by John Brooks. Frustration from the Leeds United support. Firpo nearly in. Great challenge, though, by Harwood Bellis, who tried to win the second ball. Somerville went sliding in. Oh, it's not a yellow card. It's certainly not a yellow. Somerville's gone in, stood slightly showing. Definitely, I think, caught the man first, then the ball. That's not a yellow card for me. I think that's poor refereeing. Should have just been the booking for Crescencio Somerville, but he's in the book. And we're just less than 2 minutes of the first 45. It's Leeds 0, Southampton 1. Adam Armstrong with the goal. Scored 4 times now this season against Leeds United. Been the thorn in the Leeds defence, and he's done it again. A low-driven shot into the bottom left corner. It's McCarthy with the free kick in the 18-yard box, sending out to the Southampton right in the Leeds half. Firpo wins the header. And the second header was won by Downs, cleared by Firpo again, straight to Smallbone. Now Edozie spins Firpo. Now faces him up one-on-one and gets around him and then tripped by him as he tried to get around him. And the free kick's been given Southampton's way. Junior Firpo thought he'd won the ball there. Referee thinks differently. And on the right-hand side here, about 35 yards out, it's a chance for Southampton to cross this ball in the box. The Leeds defensive line will just be 2 yards in front of the 18-yard box. So Leeds have got to keep this line high, and Southampton have got to time their runs right if they want to try and make the most of this. A 2-goal lead before the break would be huge here for the Saints. Smallbone. Ball goes into the near post. Armstrong left alone. And he shoots again. Spilt by the goalkeeper. And it's well cleared in the end. And the counter-attack's on. Nonso down the right-hand side. Dragged down by Fraser. That'll be a booking. On the halfway line. Foul's been given. But a cheeky little free kick. Just lifted down the right side of the box by Armstrong. Who somehow was all alone. Don't know how. And a similar kind of finish to his goal. He's tried to just go low. Down to the bottom left corner. But Meslier could only palm it out into danger, where Leeds could eventually get the clearance away. As Ruta trying to get himself down the right-hand side. He's overran it in the end. Tried to slide to keep it in. But out it goes for a Southampton goal kick. 5 minutes of added on time. But Armstrong not looking interested. Then just made a slight dart to the near post. Controlled it well and got the shot off. It was a good save, really, in the end by Meslier. Yes, he just palmed it into danger, but he had to get down low quickly. You know, he's 6'6", Meslier. So to get down low as quick as he did, yes, he palmed it into danger, but his defence did the rest. But just to save it originally, I think is good enough there from Elon Meslier. Southampton play out. Smallbone down the right wing to Edozie, still in his own half. Goes back to Kyle Walker-Peters. Now Downs, facing his own goal here. Goes to Walker-Peters, then back to Harwood-Bellis. Now with the goalkeeper in the 6-yard box of McCarthy. Lifts it out to the left-hand side, up towards Fraser. Header won there by Gray. Throw-in for Southampton in their own half on that far side. As it does look like Southampton could be going in with the lead. They went in with the lead the last time these two sides met at the final day of the season when Southampton won 2-1. They went up into half-time 2-1 to the good, and they were 3-0 up when these two sides met at St Mary's. Leeds got a consolation goal through Shrek in the 58th minute. As Jack Stevens on the Southampton left overruns it and just about keeps it away from Ruta, not sure how. Downs takes over and charges down the left-hand side in the final third. Goes once more to his left into Fraser. Running at Ruta. Gets beyond Ruta and then crosses high. Ball in from Fraser. Can't quite find it. Dozy. Header away by Firpo. Helped on once more by Somerville. Dealt with by Harwood-Bellis, who plays a beautiful ball down the right-hand side here to Walker-Peters. One-on-one with Somerville. Goes inside to Dozy. Back to Walker-Peters. Into the box to Smallbone. Touched away from the defender. Then gets it across the box. And it's dealt with by Rodon. Cleared by Ampadu as well. Straight to the halfway line to Bednarek. But it just looks like Southampton look like they can score at every given moment they go forward. 2.5 minutes played of the 5 added on here. Still Leeds 0, Southampton 1. Goal from Armstrong in the 24th minute is the difference at the moment. Harwood-Bellis lifting it up towards Armstrong. Takes the touch out towards the corner flag on this right-hand side. But Rodon gets in front of him and sees it out for a throw-in. Right next to the corner flag for Leeds. As they definitely want to get in as a minimum at 1-0 down. They do not want to be going in losing by 2 at half-time. They'll need to do one big comeback if they are to trail by such a margin. Big throw-in. That is a huge throw-in. Who's taken that? I think that was Rodon with the big throw. It has been headed forward by Leeds. Straight to the halfway line. Who's picked up by a Southampton player, and then Fraser helps it down the left-hand side, but couldn't be kept in there. Too far away from a Rebo. Throw-in taken quickly there by Grev. Now Rodon to Gray in the defensive third here for Leeds. Gray. High ball down the right-hand side. Nonto was making the run, but he's claimed to have been stopped there by Southampton defender. The referee's not seen it as a foul. Now Harwood-Bellis midway inside the Southampton half. Now Bednarek. Harwood-Bellis. Ball into the midfield. Cut out by Kamara, but loose ball drops to Downs. who can get away from one challenge. It's a sliding Ampadu out of position. It's now with Armstrong in the box on his left foot, goes for the strike. It's deflected over the bar and behind for a corner for the Saints. Dozy was making a run in the box, but Armstrong went alone. And this will probably be the last attack of the half, as we've got 40 seconds left of added on time here. Wonder what kind of change the Leeds need to make. Yeah, again, at half time, we'll discuss that as well. We'll discuss who they've got on the bench or what just little tactical tweaks they could make. But before we hit half time, Southampton have got a corner. It's going to be a right-footed in-swinger from Smallbone. It's in towards the 6-yard box. It's a punch away by Meslier. Not very convincing. It'll drop out to the near side here for Southampton in the final third with a Dozy. Finds a pass back to Downs and across to the left here to Walker-Peters. We've hit the 5th minute of added on time and the referee will blow for the half-time whistle. And it is Leeds United 0, Southampton 1. It was a rather even start, and in fairness, it's been a pretty even first half altogether. Leeds definitely started the stronger of the two in the first couple of minutes, finding their way into the Southampton 18-yard box. But then Southampton started to grow into the game after a bit of a shaky opening 10 or 15 minutes trying to deal with the Leeds attack. And then when they were given some time on the ball, they started to grow into the game and they took the lead in the 24th minute. Adam Armstrong with the goal. A ball in behind the Leeds defence as their line was completely disjointed. One half of the back line was up. The other half of the back line was back, a bit too far back. It allowed Armstrong to stay on side. The ball was slipped through to him through the legs of Ampadu. And as he got through on goal, one-on-one with Meslier, he had loads of time on the ball. No one was getting close to him. And he drilled it low across goal into the bottom left corner. And it gave Southampton a 1-goal lead. And they've been able to keep that lead until half-time. They've kept themselves in the game, finding themselves in possession of the ball, finding chances in the 18-yard box. They have lost David Brooks to injury, so Samuel Adozi's come on for Leeds. They started well but have dropped off quite significantly during that first half. The second half, they need to step it up once more. It's a big half-time team talk for Daniel Farker to complete. But at half-time here at Wembley Stadium, it is Leeds United 0, Southampton 1. Interesting first half, it must be said. As we will have a look through those comments now, and we'll have a discussion about the first half and the overall impact of what changes could be made, what tactical tweaks also could be made as well. So let's have a look. So the first question through the donation, which I'm very thankful for. If you've got any questions as well, if you want to get involved in any conversation at half time, please do get involved. But it says, of the two teams, which do you think is best set up to stay in the Premier League regardless of this outcome? And I'm not sure. To be completely honest, I think both sides on paper they've got quite evenly matched teams in terms of quality. I mean, of course, you know, Leeds have got your Routers and Somerville, but then Southampton have got Adam Armstrong, who's got 24 goals now this season in the league. They've also got Ryan Fraser, who's been a pretty threatful player for Southampton on the left. So in terms of squads, I think it's quite even, to be honest. And it just in terms of like the club structure and the foundations they've got, you know, Southampton have had their new owner in Dragan Solak since January 2022, and we know the Leeds ownership's been a little bit in the air the last couple of years. So in terms of, you know, ownership in strength in that sense, then you might put it towards Southampton in terms of having the right structure and squad to go at the Premier League, but then at the same time, you have got to balance in the Leeds, you know, fans. You know, going to Ellen Road is never easy. I know it wasn't enough for them to stay up a couple of seasons ago when they were relegated, but, you know, if you were to ask a fan, where would you rather go away from home to play? Would you rather play Southampton away or Leeds away? I'm pretty sure 99% of people said I'd rather play Southampton away. So in terms of who you'd want to face, I think Leeds would take that, but yeah, I'm not sure. I really don't know. I'd like to know other people's opinions. If who you think who would be better prepared to survive the Premier League next season? Would it be Leeds or Southampton? Because Leeds had 3 seasons back in the Prem. They finished 9th, 17th, and 19th. So they started well, then dropped off. But for Southampton, they've had some. They are were a real solid Premier League outfit. Their best ever Premier League finish was 6th position in the 2015-2016 season. But when they got into the Premier League, their first season was 14th, solidified themselves. Then they finished 8th, 7th, 6th, 8th. That is, 4 really solid Premier League seasons. And then it all kind of fell apart a little bit, finishing 17th, then 16th, then 11th during COVID when they went on that crazy run at the beginning. You might remember where they were top after, I think, 10 games or so. Then 15th, and then 20th. So I really don't know who would be better suited and better, best set up to survive. I think they'd both equally have a good go at surviving. I think they both could survive in the Premier League. I really do think that. I think they could both give it a good go. But again, it's just different factors, isn't it? It's the factor of structure, like you say, quality of squad, quality of manager as well. Russell Martin, has never managed in the Premier League before. But then Daniel Farke, when he's managed in the Premier League with Norwich, it's been an absolute disaster. He's managed 49 Premier League games, Daniel Farke, and he's lost 35. He's averaged 0.53 points per match in the Premier League. So you can't exactly say that Daniel Farke is the best manager to take your team into the Premier League based off his previous record. I know he didn't really have great teams at Norwich when they went up. They had a brilliant squad that works in the Championship, but as soon as they took that step up, it never really worked. So again, I think that's a brilliant question. I'm not really sure. I think both equally have their own different dimensions of reasons of why they would be better set up to survive the Premier League next season. But at the moment, it will be Southampton, who are back in the Premier League at the first time of asking. They did get back-to-back promotions, Southampton, from 2010 to 2012 to get from League One up into the Championship. Where they did, of course, end up enjoying some European football, didn't they, Southampton, in the end, when they were back in the Premier League. I know they had a campaign in the Europa League when they had the likes of Van Dijk at the club and Ward-Prowse as well. And then, for the Leeds in the... I'll go better. For better ownership, I think you have to say Southampton, because, like I say, Leeds is a little bit... from stuff I've heard, it's a little bit messy. Leeds, bigger club, 100%. Yeah, 100%. The Leeds are the bigger club on paper, but Southampton would do better in the Prem next season. Although I'm not entirely convinced either would survive. Yeah, I think they'd be down there for sure. I think both would have to fight for their survival next season. But I think personally, I could be wrong, but these two sides are definitely better than the Sheffield United team that have been in the Premier League this season. I think they're better than the Burnley team that went up this season. And I think that is because, surprisingly, both of these teams have kept a lot of their Premier League quality players, you could say. I know a lot of them got relegated, but, like, for example, Leicester, the squad they were able to keep for the Championship was ridiculous. And the same for Leeds, the fact they were able to keep Somerville, keep Ruter as well, bring in Piru, keep Nonto, who had Premier League interest in the summer from the likes of Everton. But with some additions, I definitely do think that both of these teams could give the Premier League a good go. But then at the same time, like, I wouldn't be convinced at all by Farke for Leeds. And I know it was different circumstances. That Norwich team he had wasn't great, but he just doesn't strike me as someone who can really, manage at the top level in the Premier League. So we'll have to just wait and see. I think Nottingham will be relegated next season. Their time is... We'll have to wait and see. It does look like they're building something under Nuno Espirito Santo. They survived this season. You've got to remember, they would have survived a bit more comfortably, wouldn't have they, this season, if it wasn't for their point deductions. Chris Wood was scoring a lot of goals. Gibbs White had a good end to the season. Wasn't called up to England. He made that rather clear how disappointed he was that he never got a call up even into the provisional squad. But again, you got to remember, these teams are going to have summer transfer windows to improve their team. So at the end of the day, they should hopefully, for their own sakes, look slightly better than what they've got at the moment if they bring in the right recruitment. Of course, it's all about the recruitment that they do bring in. Southampton brought both of these teams brought in 10 new signings this season. In terms of starting 11 for Leeds, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of their summer sign-offs, 5 of their signings this season starting today. And then for Southampton, they have got the 4 of their signings from this season starting as well. So there wasn't like there was loads of change for both of these two sides. Of course, Leeds and Southampton let go of some big players. For Leeds, they had to let go of Adams, Rodrigo, Roberts, Tyler Roberts went. Then a lot of them went out on loan. Like Robin Koch, Aronson as well, Harrison, Christensen, who went to Roma, Roca, who went to Real Betis, and then they lost Sinistera, who's now gone on to leave on a permanent for Bournemouth. So they both lost big players. Then for Southampton, they lost Lavia for £58 million, Livramento for £40 million, Ward-Prowse for 30, Teller for £20 million, Salisu for 17. They made £170 million this season, Southampton, through sales, and they still had and have a really strong squad for the Championship. And if they can put some of that money back into the squad next season to try and get the squad right for the Premier League, then who knows? They've definitely got a chance of surviving. Yeah, but I think it's definitely going to be close, though, in the Premier League next season. Like, who has any idea of how Ipswich are going to do next season? We don't know realistically. Their squad isn't Premier League quality. We know that, but, momentum and a style of play and just having the right manager, they might not even have their manager next season with McKenna being linked to every job under the sun. But, are Leicester going to go back to being a stronger Premier League squad? Because, realistically, Leicester aren't a relegation team. They should never have been relegated. They just never replaced Kasper Schmeichel, which is what got them relegated. If they had an half-decent keeper, I think they would have stayed up that season. But how are Ipswich going to do? Are Leicester going to return back to maybe being a mid-tables team? Out of these two, will they be able to keep themselves in the Premier League after having such disappointing campaigns the last time they were in the top division? And then when you look at the Premier League as well, like how are Nottingham Forest going to do? Are they going to build on now with Nuno Espirito Santo? Are they going to become a better outfit? What's going to happen with Everton? Are they going to be getting any more points deductions? Are Brentford going to be able to improve because they weren't quite at it this season? So I definitely think it'll be an interesting relegation battle next season. I hope it's not a case of everyone who goes up goes down again, but I can't see that, in all honesty. I can't see Leicester going back down, to be honest. Again, same thing again. How are Ipswich going to do? Could they shock the division and stay up one season? It's not a guarantee. How close are Luton to staying up? They weren't that far away, Luton, from staying up, if we're going to be completely honest. Of course, in the end, it was quite a few points they were off by, but they gave it a good fight till the end. So the second half here will be getting underway in just a couple of minutes' time. Thanks to everyone who has stayed around for half time and listened to me go on with myself, trying to keep you all entertained. But has anyone and everyone get involved in the chat if you'd like. But let's get some score predictions now for the end of the game. So it's currently Leeds 0, Southampton 1. And I'm going to go with 2-1 Southampton. I think they're going to do it. I think it's going to go 1-1. I think Leeds will equalise. And I think Southampton will nick it. Not late, not like added on time late, but maybe around the 70th, 80th minute later on, they're going to nick it with not too long of the game to go. So that's what I'm going for. I'm going to go 2-1 Southampton. But Leeds need to get themselves back in the game because they didn't have many. They had 2 shots in that first half. Leeds United. 1 on target, and they were both during the start of the game. Counts at 3-2 Southampton. Give me 3-2 Southampton. I want goals. Give me 3-2 Leeds. I don't care who goes up. That's not me picking a side. I just want goals. I'll take goals for sure. Ipswich need to keep Ollie McKenna to have any chance of staying up. 100% agree. Because that's the thing with Ipswich as well, just before we get going again in this final. You know, the only person who thoroughly understands that team and that squad is McKenna. If they're going to have to bring in a new person who has to, you know, find his own style of play within that squad and try and understand the players, because Kieran McKenna's clearly got an unbelievable understanding of the players to take them from League One to the Championship, now into the Premier League. You know, a different manager might not be able to get that same performance out of those players. So again, McKenna, keeping a hold of him is unbelievably key if they want any chance of survival. I'll say after to see if Leeds made any. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, okay, all right, no, fair enough. I don't think they are making changes, not that I can see, but Leeds are just coming back out of the tunnel now. So again, we'll have to wait and see. 2-0 Southampton. We don't see Leeds United scoring. A couple of blues in the Southampton squad, so hope they go up. Yes, there is. One of them has come on the pitch with Samuel Adozie. We also got Shea Charles as well, who we brought in the summer from Manchester City. Around £10 million. Quite the fee for the Northern Irish international. He did come off Shea Charles late as a sub in the second leg against West Brom, the 20-year-old. And obviously, of course, Taylor Harwood-Bellis. How could I forget? He's literally on loan from Manchester City this season. Option to buy of £20 million, apparently, if they are promoted. So, see if they get promoted and see if they do take that option to make that permanent, to bring Taylor Harwood-Bellis into the team. Taylor Harwood-Bellis was promoted last season as a champion of this division with Burnley. As it looks like we're going to get back underway here. Southampton kicking right to left. Leeds left to right. Both teams attacking their own supporters now. Bednarek sends the ball forward for Southampton in behind the Leeds defence, where it'll run through for Rodon at right centre half it. Keeps the ball in and plays a high ball down the right hand side here, beyond the halfway line and out of touch for a throw-in for Southampton. And we are well underway in this second half of the Championship playoff final. The sun is well and truly out now. Hopefully we'll get no more rain, as we did before the start of the game. Yeah, obligation, yeah, possibly. I think it might be. I know there's definitely a fee if they go up. You know what, I'll check that out. I should know that, really. I should have checked that. But I think it might be an obligation. Let's have a look. Is Leeds on the ball, just as I check this fee. It is Meslier with the ball for Leeds. It's a big kick forward. Again, beyond the halfway line, down the centre of the pitch where Bednarek's won the header on Piru. It's now Smallbones head it out wide to the right towards Downs. Can't quite keep it away from Kamara. Now Somerville's pass just goes behind Ruta. And it's now back with Southampton in their own half. So no changes from either of the two teams for this second half at the moment. It's now Flynn Downs in the middle of the park here for Southampton in his own half. Going out to the right to Walker Peters. Skips beyond the challenger Somerville. And then drives the ball forward here for Southampton. Beyond the halfway line. Outmuscled by Ruta. And he trips the Frenchman. And that'll be a free kick for Leeds. Good track in there by Jorginho Ruta. And they've gone all the way back here to Elon Meslier. Just outside the 18-yard box here. Yeah, it'd be an obligation to buy. So you know more than me. You know more than me. It is an obligation to buy if they are promoted. £20 million. Which, you know, for a young centre-half at the age of 22, he's got loads of experience already as a footballer. You know, so many loan spells. There's Adozie down the right side in the box, pulls it back. Jack Stevens with the shot. Blocked by Gurev. Comes out to Somerville on the left wing, who's battling here with Walker-Peters. He's been tackled by Walker-Peters, who can keep the ball in as well. Into the final third, he goes down over the challenger. Somerville, not seen as a foul by the referee. Somerville now in the corner flag, trying to clear it. He does clear it. Only finds Stevens, touches it into Smallbone. On the edge of the box, trying to turn forward, but he's been taken off him by Piru, who now skips forward for Leeds and plays out to the right for Nonto. Counter-attack on here for Leeds United. Nonto beyond the halfway line, charging down the right-hand side. Archie Gray's joining him, and he finds Archie Gray in the final third. Going back inside to Nonto. Southampton got bodies back. Leeds trying to get as many forward as possible. Gurev allowed to bring it forward. And going backwards here to Kamara. I think he was having a thought about the shot there. It's now Gray. Loads of space on the right-hand side. Plays it to his left to Gurev. And then back out to Gray. Finding Gurev again, midway inside the Southampton half. It's now back with Rodon. Bringing it forward from centre-back. Running into Aribo, but gets away from him instead. Nonto takes over, chops it through. Rodon with the run. Tries the toe-peck shot blocked by Harwood-Bellis. Somerville with the shot towards the far corner, and it's just gone wide. McCarthy, the goalkeeper, rooted to the spot. What a run that was by Rodon. It looked like he'd ran into Aribo, just almost backed out a little bit. And the ball ran through, and Rodon just carried on his stride towards goal. Touch was a bit heavy, so Nonto took it off him, and then he chopped it back inside to Rodon, who toe-pecked it towards goal. It was blocked, and then Somerville with the shot, bending it to that far corner, and it's just gone wide. McCarthy was certainly sure that was not going in, because he didn't even attempt the dive to try and get that shot saved. It's an half-decent start from Leeds, who can try and come forward again here. Kamara out to the far side to Firpo. Everyone behind the ball for Southampton, bar Adam Armstrong. Shows how compact and how deep Southampton are sitting in this low block at the minute, it must be said. Whilst Leeds have got the ball. It's on the halfway line with Ampadu. Less than 5 minutes into the second half, it's Leeds United 0. Southampton 1. Gurev, brilliant ball out wide left to get it to Firpo. Just went through the legs of Smallbone. Firpo on the edge of the box plays it out wide here to Ruta, who's in the area, taking it down the line. Low ball in, it comes off the left boot of Aribo and headed into the edge of the box there by Walker-Peters, volleyed by Somerville, blocked by Aribo, and it bounces out to this near side for Leeds as it'll go for a throw-in. And it'll be taken by Gray. So Leeds United supporters want a little bit more from their team here. Leeds had lost 4 of their previous 6 games in the league before the playoffs started. So not the best of form to come into, and they've not played amazing in the playoffs. That first leg wasn't amazing, but that second leg was exactly what you want from a playoff semi-final performance. That's Kamara. It's now in the centre circle with Gurev. Back to Ampadu. Going wide to Firpo on the far side. Good pressing from Southampton, keeping Leeds as far away from their goal as possible. Kamara having to go back to Meslier. Really good pressing there from Southampton, especially from Edozie, who was putting that pressure on Glenn Kamara. Ampadu forward down the left here to Firpo. Once more for Ruta, who'll chase it down. Harwood-Bellis comes across, catches him. In the box or outside it, I'm not too sure. Yellow card given, I think it's a free kick. That ball was there to be won for both, and Ruta got there first. Definitely got there first. Got that touch away from Harwood-Bellis. He went right through Ruta, and he was just outside the box. It will be a free kick. Little bit of a rush of blood to the head there by Harwood-Bellis, who dived in. Didn't quite get himself to the ball ahead of Ruta. And it's on an angle here. The left side of the box. Somerville's the only one stood over it. The right boot of the Dutch winger. 2-man wall for Southampton. As Leeds crowd around the 6-yard box. Somerville will go for the shot towards goal. It's come off the head of the Southampton number 21 of Harwood-Bellis, who gave away the free kick, who's now on a booking. Interestingly enough as well, both Southampton centre-halves are on yellow cards, which is very important to note. Definitely don't want anyone being sent off in this game. Either of the two teams, you don't want anyone being sent off as the corner goes short to Nonto on the angle, on his right foot, trying to get some space. Going to the edge of the area now to Gurev. Crosses in towards Rodon, who is onside, and Aribo flicks it away. It'll drop towards Rodon, who will let the ball roll out now for a throw-in for Leeds. Still in the final third on this near side. As Leeds only have one win in their last 6 against Southampton, and that was last season. That's got to be a foul throw. Archie Gray just trying to rush the throw-in and committed the foul throw there. Just tried to go too quick. Archie Gray there. But yeah, it's definitely a fixture head-to-head wise that Southampton have enjoyed very recently. Southampton have won 6 of the last 12 against Leeds from 2010 to 2024. 1-1 and penalty kicks. That would be very nerve-wracking as Jack Stevens, the Southampton captain, is going to have a talking to here by the referee as Jack Stevens just taking a bit too long with his throwing for the referee's liking, John Brooks. So he's a throw for Southampton, a left-back position, thrown forward by Stevens to the halfway line. Dealt with by Ampadu, chesting the ball forward. Playing a ball into the middle here for Somerville. Flicks it through towards Piru. Intercepted by Kyle Walker, pieces on the edge of the box. Southampton try and play out. Fraser in a left-back position, goes inside to Downs. Beats the press of Leeds, and Downs will bring it forward. Lays it off to Aribo, who's just behind him. Still in the Southampton half. It's with small bone, it goes under his foot. And it's now through to Somerville in a central area. Goes out to the left to Piru. Shields the ball away from Smallbone, and then Kamara caught on his toes, but he deflects back to Piru, who thought about the shot, but can't get away from Downs. Ball moves away from the two of them. Kamara slides in, wins it ahead of Aribo. It's now Ampadu to bring it forward. Finding the ball to the left to Piru. It's just a bit congested in the middle. Piru couldn't quite get it out of his feet. Cleared by Southampton. At 9 minutes into the second half, it is Leeds 0, Southampton 1 in this Championship playoff final at Wembley. That's for Southampton. The last time they were in the top 2 was on the 10th of February after a 5-3 home win against Huddersfield. And then after that, they were on a bit of a dismal run to the end of the season. They had a bad start to the season as well, Southampton. They lost 4 of their opening 8 games in the league. But then after that run of 4 losses in 8, they then went on and went 22 games unbeaten in the league with 16 wins and 6 draws. It was ended by a defeat away at Bristol on the 13th of February. That's where their season started just to collapse a little bit, where they ended up having to settle for playoffs. Firpo from left back, bringing it forward into the final third. Out wide once more now to Somerville. Wants to get onto his right foot, and he does, and he lays it off to the edge of the box now to Kamara. Forward into the box to Firpo. Out wide left now to Somerville. Just outside the box at the moment. He enters the box in the corner. Going back to Kamara. Nice footwork to keep away from Smallbone. Wants the 1-2 with Somerville. Somerville keeps it instead. Goes back to Nonto. Now to the right to Gray. Bit of space here for the 18-year-old. Ruter. Back to Rodon. Forward to Gray. 1-on-1 with Fraser. Gray doesn't have many options around him as he drives inside. And then goes back out wide now to Rodon, the centre-half, who's almost in a right-wing position here. Back into Gray. 25 yards out. No real options in front of him, so has to go back to Rodon. It's now Somerville. Out to the right now to Gray. Forward for Ruter. Only Piru in the box. Ruter's ball finds Nonto on the edge. Goes back to Gray. Very patient here from Leeds United, who will want a goal as soon as possible. They have been forced to go back though to the halfway line now to Ampadu. To the left here to Kamara. Done quickly, and Daniel Farker applauds the pass. This is Kamara. Inside to Nonto. Gets away from Downs, but then's tripped, and then that's a free kick for Leeds. Flynn Downs not happy with his side there. Clearly the press wasn't right, as Nonto was just allowed too much space. He almost got away from Downs. Knocked the ball past him, but then was tripped. But Downs had to go across there in the Southampton midfield to get out to Nonto because no one was near him at the start. And then Downs just got a bit too close and took him out. Brilliant area though for a free kick here. About 25 yards out to the left-hand side. More suited to a right footer, but we have seen Gurev score a free kick in the playoffs in that second leg against Norwich to make it 1-0. So will it be Gurev or Somerville? McCarthy directing his wall to be in the right position to try and deal with this set piece. It'll be Somerville to strike it. He's overhit it well over the bar. Was aiming for that top left corner, but didn't quite catch it there. Crescencio Somerville. And I think a big thing for Leeds, just thinking about it now, if they were to be kept in the Championship, if they were to lose today, how many of those players could they keep now in their squad? Because a lot of these players who have stayed around for this season will want to be out of this division, if that's with Leeds or without them. So it'll be interesting how many players they can keep in the Championship for another year if they do stay down. Because, for example, Jorginho Ruta is, a Champions League goal scorer. He scored in his only Champions League appearance, which was back in December 2020. So that's also something to bear in mind. They won't have this same squad next season. I don't think so. It's Leeds on the ball in their own half here, with their captain Ampadu finding Kamara, then going back to Meslier. Armstrong will slowly closing down. Meslier clears it first time beyond the halfway line, but it's a free header for Harwood Bellis to win. Headed out wide right by Adozie, controlled by Firpo ahead of Smallbone. And Firpo completes a 1-2 with Ruta. But then Firpo just about works it back forward to Ruta ahead of Walker-Peters. Ruta on the left-hand side. Downs is chasing him towards the corner flag. Ruta goes down. Is there a foul? There is. Trip on Ruta. And just in front of the corner flag on that left-hand side, it'll be a free kick for Leeds. Flynn Downs, again, the guilty party with the trip. Downs claimed there was no contact. And there wasn't. What a dive that is. Oh, there was no contact there. Ruta's gone down looking for the foul and he's been given it by the referee. I didn't think there was contact in that one. Flynn Downs obviously not very pleased with that decision. But Southampton have got another free kick to defend here. Deep delivery by Somerville towards Ampadu. Heads it into the sky in the 6-yard box and McCarthy claims it. And he rolls it out quickly to the left here to Aribo. Can Southampton catch Leeds on the counter? There's not many forward for Southampton. Aribo slows it down halfway. Goes across to the right to Fraser. And then back into Downs. And Southampton can just settle back on in possession after a pretty nervy last 5 or so minutes with Leeds having so much of the possession. Harwood Bellis playing a ball through for Armstrong on the right-hand side. Flag goes up. Adam Armstrong thought he'd kept himself on side there with the pass from Harwood Bellis. Let's have a look here. Armstrong going. It would have been tight. Might have just been off. But definitely a close call. Need to be careful there, Leeds United. We have only had 2 draws in the last 18 meetings between these two. They both came in 2022. We don't usually get draws between these two. But a draw today would lead to extra time and penalties possibly. Smallbone on the right-hand side here for Southampton in the final third as they win it back off Leeds. Goes back into Adozie, trying to get away from Gruev. Adozie plays it through down the line towards Smallbone, just over here. Not a bad idea though there by Samuel Adozie, who came off the bench in the first half for the injured David Brooks. Half an hour to go. Leeds 0, Southampton 1 in this game, which provides a place back in the Premier League. And Southampton were in fact the only team in the Championship to do the league double over Leeds this season, winning home and away. Only team to do it. Somerville gives it away. And Walker-Peters is then tripped there by Ruta. Free kick for Southampton, about 15 yards inside the Leeds half there. Because Somerville had the ball and he thought he was fouled. That should be a free kick. Walker-Peters pulling the shirt of Somerville, but the referee didn't give it as a foul. And Somerville almost stopped, and then eventually the free kick's gone Southampton's way. We're back underway. Southampton on the halfway line with their right centre half here of Harwood Bellis. Touches him great, but he can work it down the line to Adozie. Now to Smallbone. Wants the 1-2. Smallbone passes it off Ampadu. And that'll be a throw in for Southampton. Midway side the Leeds half on the far side. Parachute payments. Leeds will get less to use. Yeah, 100%. Financially, it'll be a big blow for both of these teams to not go straight back up. Adozie with the ball. shielding it away from Somerville and going back to Walker-Peters, then into the midfield to Downs. Still down the right-hand side at the moment. Tries to lift it into Smallbone, finds him towards the corner flag, goes down over the challenge of Ampadu. Nothing given. Smallbone goes down again, and eventually the free kick's given. Ampadu's first challenge went unpunished. The second one did go punished with a foul. First one was shoulder to shoulder, nothing wrong with that one. And then the second one was a bit of a hold, bit of a grab. Not a foul for me. A little bit soft that. I can understand why Ampadu's a little bit aggrieved with that challenge going against him. But this is, I mentioned this in the commentaries a lot, it's like a better angled corner. You know when you go short to someone and they cross it in, it's like that. Bit of a better angled corner here. It'd be an outswinger with the right boot of Smallbone. Delivery goes in towards Taylor Howard-Bellis, header won by Junior Firpo. And Southampton restart in front of the centre circle with Kyle Walker-Peters. Goes to the left here to Downs. Allowed to bring it forward. And goes to the left here to Jack Stevens. He can recycle it in the box if he wants to. Bednarek's still up there. Downs goes to Fraser. Then back to the halfway line to Walker-Peters, who's been forced to go back to the goalkeeper. Good press there by Joel Piru. It's now with Fraser. To the left there to Stevens. Down the line. Kicks it off Gray. Throwing for Southampton in the Leeds half. Stevens, big throw into the box, and he finds Armstrong, who just about keeps it in on the byline. And the ball's been kicked out of play by Rodon. And that'll be a corner for Southampton. Really well won, that. Really well won. Because the throw-in was quite far away. Jack Stevens has just absolutely launched that into the box. Armstrong didn't really have many places to go, but the fact he's been able to win a corner there is really good forward play. And a second goal here for Southampton. I wouldn't say it seals it, but it puts them in a really good position for promotion. It'll be an in-swinger from Smallbone. It's towards the far post, easy catch from Elliott, who wants to try and set the attack off quickly. Rolls it to the right here to Ruta, who can get on his bike now with the ball. Ruta goes beyond the halfway line. He's got Kamara to his right. Tries to play it through towards Somerville instead. Interception from Fraser. Goes into the middle now to Stevens. Out wide to the right-hand side now to Adozie. Can he take on Firpo? Yes, he can. And then he's been brought to the ground there by Ruta, who tried to win it back. And with 25 minutes to play, it's Leeds 0, Southampton 1 at Wembley. And we're going to get a change. We're going to get a first change of the game. It's going to be for Leeds United. It's not quite been his day. All round, Willie Nonto will be coming off here for the number 20 of Dan James, who had missed the previous two Leeds games, including the Southampton game on the last day before the playoffs, but he's been able to return for the playoff games. He's come off the bench in both, and now he's off the bench again in the final, and they need him now to really put in a shift. Dan James. Armstrong in the centre circle, looking out to the left-hand side and finding Ryan Fraser, who's going to try and run forward with the ball into the final third. He's got Gray chasing him every step of the way, but Fraser can work across. It's into the gloves of Melier at the near post. Poor delivery there from Ryan Fraser. Usually better than that with the delivery. Brought in on loan from Newcastle, Ryan Fraser. His best ever Premier League season saw him collect 14 assists with 7 goals in the 2018-2019 season. Just never quite worked for him, though, at Newcastle United. As it's Archie Gray. Forward towards Ruta. Deflects back to Gray there off Downs in the final third. Out towards the corner flag. Finds Dan James. Tries to go to Gray, but deflects back to him off Aribo. Still with James. Delivers it into the box. It's not a bad ball, but it's a header away there by Walker-Peters. Back out towards James. Header won by Aribo. And it'll roll out of play for a Leeds United throw-in. It's a positive impact straight off the bench there by Dan James, who has got 2 goals against Southampton in his career. His third ever Manchester United goal was away at Southampton back in August 2019, and he also scored in that 9-0 win for United against Southampton, and that was back in February 2021 as Leeds had given it away, and Rodon's out of position. Adozie in the box on the left-hand side, on his right foot, goes across goal and he lifts it over. Opened up the body, went with the right foot towards that top right corner, couldn't quite find the target. Rodon on the halfway line trying to play a ball through, intercepted by Downs and slipped through by Aribo to Edozie, who just peeled out to the left-hand side. He was running at Ampadu, who just tried to keep it on his left foot, but he was just able to switch up late to get it onto his stronger right. With a quarter of the game to go, it's a big chance for Southampton. With Samuel Edozie, he's got 6 goals this season in the league. His last was on the 10th of February against Huddersfield in that 5-3 win, which put them into the top 2 for the final time in the season. It's now back with Southampton on the halfway line with Walker-Peters. Downs, short ball to the right, intercepted by Somerville. Not many options out there for him. Goes inside to Kamara. Somerville brought down as he played it, but play has been allowed to continue by the referee, John Brooks. It's now Dan James on the right. A little bit isolated out there with Aribo, who will run at here. Goes on the outside, then chops back. Needs to play the pass here. Eventually goes to Gray. Gray with the ball, being chased down by Fraser. Outside the boot, ball towards Piru. It does drop to him in the end. Piru tackled though by Stevens. Smallbone lifts it to Armstrong. And then in behind for Edozie, will chase it. Ampadu coming across in the Leeds half to sweep it up and deal with it. And it goes back to Meslier. Good defending there by Ampadu. As for Southampton, now in all competitions this season, they have scored 100 goals in Russell Martin's first season, the 38-year-old. He was promoted here with Norwich as captain as a player in 2015 in the Championship playoff final. As Meslier on the edge of the box, goes to the right centre half of Rodon, can't control it. He goes right under his boot and away for a Southampton throw-in. Just when you think things aren't quite going your team's way, that's their signs. You know, simple touch that should have been for Rodon, but under his foot it went. And we're going to get the first we're going to get the second Southampton change. We had the first lead change before, but this is the second Southampton one as David Brooks went off in the first half injured. And they're going to get the second Southampton change with Ryan Fraser, who we were just talking about his failed spell at Newcastle, but he's had a decent spell at Southampton. He'll be replaced by another Scotsman, and that'll be Che Adams, who is getting his first minutes in the playoffs. He was injured on the last day against Leeds, and they've been working him really hard to try and get back for the playoffs, and he's just about returned for the final here, and here's his first touch from the throne from Stevens. Finds Smallbone just behind him, can't flick it back to Adams, cleared by Firpo, up towards Pirro on the centre circle, taken off him there by Harwood Bellis, and as Walker-Peters played it forward, he was caught, so the play's pulled back for a free kick for Southampton. So they've done well to get Che Adams back. He's got 3 goals against Leeds in his past. Che Adams all in the 2018-19 season in the Championship. He's looking for his 50th Championship goal of his career. And 2 more goals today would put him at 50 as well for Southampton, as he joined the club for £15 million from Birmingham in 2019. As we are back underway, it's McCarthy for Southampton on the edge of the box, lifting out towards the left-hand side, beyond the halfway line towards Edozie, chested down by Gray, and flicked out towards the left. It's controlled by Firpo, who's got himself into a more central area on the halfway line, trying to pass, comes off Aribo, but deflects to Rodon, and the Leeds have it again. Less than 20 minutes to save their season. Not really look like scoring too often, it must be said here, Leeds, as they've gone for a lifted ball towards Piru, headed down by Bednarek, controlled forward by Stevens, starting in a left-back position with Edozie. Does look like Edozie's out on the left wing now as Downs just about keeps it to Stevens. And it just looks like that Leeds, they've lost this game in the midfield. That midfield 3 of Southampton has just bossed the Leeds midfielders. They've gone over the top here. Southampton Aribo lifting it towards the far post, and it's a catch easy for Meslier. Lifted ball over the top by Harwood Bellis. It's a brilliant ball down the left channel, and Aribo beat Gray to it in the box, and he tried to lift it across as quickly as possible, but just overcooked it in the end there, Aribo. It's now with Meslier on the ball with his feet. What can Leeds do to try and change this game? They have never been promoted via the playoffs. This is their 6th attempt. It's their 4th final. And I don't think their fans can bear take another playoff defeat here. As Ruta down the left-hand side, lifting it forward towards Somerville, but Walker-Peters deals with the both of them really well. That is magnificent from Walker-Peters, who still has it and eventually wins the free kick after being pulled down by Ruta. And there's a reason why Kyle Walker-Peters has been included in the Championship Player of the Team of the Season, because he has been fantastic, and he has tonight. Former England international Walker-Peters made 2 caps for England in March 2022. We're going to get a double Leeds change here. We're going to see the number 8 of Glenn Kamara come off for Connor Roberts. So that does mean Archie Gray will go into midfield, and Roberts will go out wide at right back. And the second change, we'll see Crescencio Somerville come off the pitch, and he's been replaced by Jayden Anthony. So the Championship Player of the Season has come off here for the final 17 minutes. Somerville has scored 20 goals this season in the league, 5 in his last 10, but not scored against Southampton this season or in his career, and he's been pulled off early. Big call by Farker to bring on Anthony. And Southampton attack down the right. Midway inside the Leeds half of Walker-Peters plays it forward now to Adam Armstrong. Back through towards the run of Walker-Peters. It's overhit and out for a goal kick here for Leeds United to take. And Southampton can almost see the gates opening for their return back to the Premier League. Big ball forward for Leeds in behind, looking for the run of Piru. He's battling with Bednarek, who heads it out wide to the Leeds left, and it will go for a Leeds throw-in hit in the final third. Just did what was necessary there, Bednarek, just keeping it away from Piru. Didn't want to get him in behind one-on-one with McCarthy. And then again, the throwing goes wrong. Fur post throwing to Anthony. He couldn't control it right there, the substitute. And straight out of play for a Southampton throwing in a right-back position. As the frustration for the Leeds supporters is growing rather rapidly. How long before they substitute those? I don't think they will substitute those. It's very, very risky to substitute centre-halves in a football game. You don't want to bring on a player who's not quite up to the speed of the game, as Roberts almost gives it away for Leeds at right-back. Which deflected through for Ampadu instead. 15 minutes to go at Wembley. It's Leeds 0, Southampton 1. Adam Armstrong with the only goal of the game in the 24th minute. Leeds trying to get this door knocked down. There's Ruta, brought down by Downs, not seen as a foul by the referee. Now Rebo, back he goes to the edge of the box to Harwood Bellis. Wanting to play the ball forward, he plays a low pass into Che Adams. Turns away from Rodon and plays it back here into Bednarek. Now the left back is Stevens, midway inside zone half, goes forward to Edozie. Tries to turn away from Roberts. Edozie has it. Returns it to Stevens. And then back he goes now to Alex McCarthy. Harwood Bellis. High ball to the halfway line. Helped on by Adams, but it drops to Roberts and not Edozie. And Leeds have it back in their own half. Not really tested McCarthy in the entire game, Leeds. As Ampadu. High ball out to the left towards Jayden Anthony. He'll keep it in, but it's poked out of play by Walker-Peters. And the throw-in will be taken by Firpo, taken quickly to Gray. He's now in a centre midfield position. He's very versatile, Archie Gray at the age of 18. He can play right back or in the centre of midfield. It's now Roberts in behind for James in the box. Will he get there? Will it go out of play? No, he will get there. And he'll get his cross deflected off Stevens. And it's a corner for Leeds on the near side. It's the lifted ball over the top there by Roberts. One Welsh international to another. And Dan James was the one chasing it. And we know how quick he is. He was able to keep it in. Cross wasn't great, but he just did well to keep it in the first place. So a corner is probably the best scenario there for Leeds. And it's going to be an in-swinging delivery with the left boot of the Bulgarian of Ilya Gurev. In it goes to the near post. Flipped onto the far post by Ruta. And it's an easy catch from McCarthy, who will relax now with the ball in his hands. As Edozie's now gone down for Southampton. McCarthy throws the ball off the pitch, and Edozie came on for Brooks in what was the 35th minute. So Edozie has only played 40 minutes of football and he's suffering with cramp. Interesting player to go down with cramp, the one who's not been on for the longest, but it will be a breaking play now where Leeds need to try and get their ideas together, because at the moment they are losing this playoff final and it doesn't look like they're going to get themselves back into it. So Dozy back to his feet after suffering with a bit of cramp there. The Southampton number 23. He's just at the age of 21. Daniel Farke pondering on. If he loses, this will be his 40th defeat as a manager in the Championship. As he has some discussion with his coaching staff here, Daniel Farke, with his assistants of Edmund Reimer and Christopher John. And there is some of the Leeds hierarchy in the crowd. It can still be their day for Leeds, but it's not at the moment. We're back underway. Adams in a right-back position for Southampton. He tries to turn away from Ampadu, but he's clipped by him. And Ampadu's brought down. That'll be a free kick and a yellow card for Chardams. Received the ball in the midfield, Adams, and his touch was really heavy, and he sent him out towards the right-back position for Southampton. He tried to turn forward. He ran right into Ampadu, who took over. And then, as Ampadu got away from Adams, Adams just stuck his leg out. They had a tangle of legs, which stopped Ampadu getting in behind. He was outside the box, Ampadu. He was on the left-hand side, so he would have to have found himself driving inside, and he might have found a defender in his way, but it still would have been a really good opportunity for Leeds. So Adams did what he had to do, really. Bring down Ampadu, get the yellow card, and defend this set piece. It's Grev over it again with his left foot, but this time Anthony's the right-footed option, and Anthony will deliver it into the box. It's flicked away by Stevens, and that'll be a corner on the near side for Leeds United. 10 minutes of the 90 to play. Still alive for Leeds, but they need to start getting some shots off at goal, and they need to start trying to test Alex McCarthy. Grev delivers it in, header away, back to Grev by Southampton. So Grev can try and re-deliver the ball back in the box. He goes short instead to James. Now with Roberts, back out to Grev on his left foot. Plays a low ball towards Ruta. He just needs to cross it. Intercepted. And Walker Peters needs to clear for Southampton if he can. Ruta slides in and takes it off him. Them two are battling. The ball's still alive here. Walker Peters has it. He's then shoved to the ground by Connor Roberts. And that'll be a free kick in the end there. Ruta can't believe it. There's some real battling going on between 4 players there. 2 for Southampton and 2 for Leeds. Walker Peters, for me, personally, has been my man of the match. I think he's been absolutely fantastic. I was going to say fantastic and magnificent, putting one there, but fantastic he's been. But it's like, just for example there, Grev on the ball, when he's gone low into the box, like, just put it in there, but cross it. Try to be a bit too intricate at times. Leeds today. McCarthy sends the free kick forward, deep into the Leeds half, up towards Adams, header won by Ampadu, then knocked to the ground. And this play stopped. Melier has it. And Ampadu, I think, just caught in the face there as he challenged with Adams for the ball. As we're going to get more changes here for Leeds. I think we're going to get the one change. I think that's all they've got left, because they've brought on Roberts, Anthony, James. Now they've got a couple more. The next one they're going to bring on is Mateo Joseph, the under-21 Spanish international. 20 years of age. Got the 1 goal so far this season in the league, and that was away off the bench at Watford in late March. So Ampadu, the captain, currently down at the moment. Not receiving treatment, because of course if he receives treatment then he'll have to go off the pitch. So Ampadu's been helped to his feet. Southampton are going to make a change as well here. Don't know when they're going to make it, but it will be Ryan Manning to come on, who Russell Martin brought with him from Swansea. Did start the 2 games against Leeds in the season. Ryan Manning at left back. Ampadu sounds like he's having a good game. I mean, in fairness, It's been a really even game. Of course, second half, Leeds have had the majority of the ball. But every time Southampton go forward, they do look like they can cause some issues. And with Ampadu, what impresses me the most about him is just the sheer calmness. 23 years old. He's only been here he only joined in the summer. And he's already captain when Liam Cooper's not playing, the club captain. And he's just a calm figure at the back for Leeds. And of course it helps the fact he's usually a midfielder, so when he's at the back he has that midfield range of passing as well. So more changes here. Junior Firpo, the left back for Leeds, is off for Mateo Joseph. And Southampton's change will see Adozie come off. So Adozie came on in the first half. He struggled with cramp. So now he's been substituted off for Ryan Manning, who is usually an out-and-out left back, but can definitely do a job in a left wing back kind of role. So Ampadu's back to his feet. He'll be okay to continue. We've got 7 minutes left. Roberts, high ball down the right-hand side, looking for Joseph. It deflects beyond Bednarek, but hooked away on the edge of the box for Southampton, but kept alive there by Ampadu. Won the ball ahead of Armstrong. It's out to the left wing now to James. Running at Walker-Peters. Edge of the box, tries to shot. Comes off Walker-Peters, but back to James. He's not got many options around him. Tries to find it through to Anthony, who returns it to Dan James off the bar! And away it goes. That is as close as Leeds have got all day. Dan James caught that as sweet as you like. And it cannoned off the underside of the crossbar and away. Completed the 1-2 there in the box. And as he got the return ball, he's hit it with his right foot towards the top right corner. He's beat Alex McCarthy, but he can't beat the crossbar. So unfortunate for James, who sent those raindrops flying off the crossbar as he hit that with so much power. And was that the Leeds chance to get them back in this game? Hands on head moments for those Leeds supporters. They thought they'd equalised. Long ball forward by Southampton, flicked on by Che Adams ahead of Rodon, but dealt with by Ampadu, but straight to Smallbone, who beats Anthony to the ball. Smallbone crosses to the near post, hooked away by Ampadu. Kept alive by Walker-Peters, straight to Che Adams, out to the right to Walker-Peters. Forward for Smallbone, who's offside, so Walker-Peters will chase his own pass, but there's Ampadu again to sweep up and play it down the line to James. Tripped by Flynn Downs, who is booked for the trip, and that'll be a free kick for Leeds United. 5 minutes left to play. Leeds 0, Southampton 1. The current match winner is Adam Armstrong, who's now got 5 in his last 4. Against Leeds United. A couple of Southampton heroes in the stands there. Adam Lallana and Matt Le Tissier, who's just been cut off the cameras there by Sky. I wonder why they're cutting him off and not putting any focus on Le Tissier, eh? Interesting. There's Roberts, high ball, down the middle of the pitch. Header won by Harwood Bellis on the edge of the area. Almost found Anthony. Cleared in the end for Southampton down the left-hand side. Dealt with by Gray. Playing the ball forward here. Controlled by Joseph to Piru. That's a great touch. Piru goes to the left now. Ruter. He's got James once more. Ruter will go on his own. And it's always flying over the crossbar. Just got underneath that Ruter. He should have played it left there to James, who almost just scored himself a couple of minutes ago. And again, it's not quite been Ruter's day. Scored in that second leg against Norwich in the semi-final, but he's just not been in goal-scoring form as of late, Ruter. Before that goal against Norwich, he'd got 1 in his previous 20 and 0 in the previous 14. So he's really not been finding the back of the net, Ruter, as much as he would have liked to this season. He's only got 6 in the league altogether. He's provided loads of assists, but goal-scoring's not quite been his strength this season. So it's back with Leeds on the edge of the box. Out wide right to Roberts, who takes it beyond the halfway line. He's got Aribo in front of him. Southampton have defended unbelievably well in this second half. You know, not conceded many big chances. That James one was the first real one of the entire game they've had. Russell Martin has set up his side really well. And he said before the game, Russell Martin, that he's really enjoyed the build-up to the game. He's liked what he's seen from his side. Ball in the box for Leeds, headed away by Bednarek, out to the Leeds left, where James have kept it alive. He's collided with Walker-Peters, and the play's been stopped because both are down here with head injuries. Leeds United fans are Leeds United fans are frustrated, but both players are down, not just the Southampton man who stayed down. James has also stayed down after the collision, because the ball did get played through in the box to Joseph, but the referee's got to stop play, especially when both have gone down. It's not like, Walker-Peters has stayed down to get the game stopped. Almost there for Russell Martin. 5 promotions he experienced as a player. Russell Martin. This will be his best and biggest achievement as a manager. He's only been a manager for 4.5 years. Or 5.5 years now. But this could be it. He could be a Premier League manager. His previous finishes in the Championship with Swansea for Russell Martin. He finished 15th, then 10th. So clearly at Swansea he was starting to build something. But when Southampton came calling, he couldn't quite say no. And there is the Southampton owner, Dragan Solak, who brought the club in January 2020. And you can tell he is stressed. He's got his head in his hands there, as the play's just been stopped for the moment. Hopefully both of those players are okay to continue. Kyle Walker-Peters and Dan James. As they have got stretchers at the ready for both of these two players. It'd be a shame if Kyle Walker-Peters had to come off, because he has been brilliant today, in my opinion. And you can completely understand why he has been named in the Championship Team of the Year. So just a stoppage in play here. Prediction of how much time added on. With the Edozie break, the Ampadu break, this break. 8? I might agree with you. 8. 7 or 8? Depends how long this takes. If this takes a bit longer, we could go 8, 9, possibly 10. It depends how long this takes. We are about to hit the 90th minute, so we will find out soon. But the current match winner, Adam Armstrong, in the 24th minute, beating the Leeds offside trap and drilling it into the bottom left corner. And Adam Armstrong won Southampton's Fan Player of the Year. He won the Players Player of the Year, but he wasn't named in the Championship Team of the Year. And for Adam Armstrong, he said during the week, I'm buzzing for it. I've been to Wembley as a fan, but never played on the pitch. It will be a special occasion. So his first ever game at Wembley for Adam Armstrong. He has scored in. And there we go. There is Sky Sports giving a little bit of attention there to Matt Le Tissier, who is one of the greatest Southampton players. And 9 minutes have been added on so far. So we've got a minimum of 9, but we've not played for the last minute or 2. So at the moment, we're going to play over 100 minutes of football here as a minimum, because these two players are still getting treated out on the pitch. So 9 added on here. Head injuries for both Kyle Walker-Peters and Dan James. It looks like Kyle Walker-Peters is going to be okay to carry on. He's stood up. He's on the touchline, just waiting to get himself back on. I think Dan James will be okay as well. He was just getting bandaged up. He's got a big white bandage around his head, so he's got to swap his shirt. And I'm presuming both are going to be okay to carry on here. As in this Championship playoff final, it's Leeds 0, Southampton 1. We've played 1 minute of the 9 added on, but of course we'll play a little bit extra now after this stoppage with these two head injuries. Dan James getting the closest to a goal, hitting the crossbar about 5 minutes ago now, as Kyle Walker-Peters has got his black bandage on around his head. So Dan James getting his fresh new shirt on. Dan James making sure Walker-Peters is okay. It was very innocent. Both just went for the ball. Both collided. It wasn't really necessarily, ignited by one of the players. So we've played nearly 2 minutes of added on time. We're still not back underway, so we're going to play well over 100 minutes here. And we are now back underway. Drop ball. Leeds have got it in the centre circle now with Archie Gray. Both players are still waiting to be allowed back on here, as Leeds have it with Roberts. Down the right-hand side here for Joseph. Got two Southampton players around him, but he turns them both. Joseph pulls it back. Oh, no one's there for Leeds on the edge of the area. Cleared by Armstrong. What a run by Joseph. Pass back towards Gray. Short. It goes away from him, and Che Adams can take it away. Down the left-hand side for Southampton. He's all on his own. He's surrounded by Leeds shirts. He goes back to the halfway line to Aribo. Well kept there by Che Adams. And now Aribo trying to keep it, and he will. Gets away from two challenges. And it's now with Manning forward by Smallbone, but can't quite find it to Che Adams. Got away with that. Leeds. Really poor back pass by Roberts to find Gray. Adams was away. Ampadu, ball down the line. What a ball that is down the left. It's just held up in the turf there as it was going in behind for James. Cleared by Walker-Peters. So back on the pitch, both of them. As we played 3 minutes of added on time. 9 added on, but we'll play a couple more minutes of that because we had stoppages just at the end of the game. Connor Roberts at right back. Find Archie Gray. Across to Rodon. Now to the left to Ampadu. Forward to Dan James. Running at Walker-Peters. Drives inside onto his right foot. Away from the first challenge and the second. Wants the 1-2 of Rooter. Doesn't quite come off. Cleared by Downs. But it will be a Leeds throw-in. So the pressure can continue as some of these Leeds fans can't bear to watch their team fall to another defeat in the playoffs. Rooter. Touch isn't great. Tackle by Downs. Southampton can clear it down the right-hand side, but no one's up there for them. Armstrong was the one who cleared it. Straight through for Melier. And again, it's been Leeds for the majority of the second half, but it definitely will be Leeds till the end of this game because they are the team who need the goal. Just one shot on target, though, the whole game. Root around the corner, down the left here for Anthony. He'll be kept in. One-on-one with Harwood Bellis. Outside the box for now. He enters the box. In the corner of it. Squares it. James shoots towards goal. Palmed away by McCarthy. Kept in by Joseph. Angles tight. Plays it back to Roberts on the edge of the area. There's a shot on target for Leeds. Roberts tries to go down the line to Joseph. It deflects off Aribo. And then Joseph can't quite keep it in as Roberts tackles Aribo. Throwing in the left-back position for Southampton. Dan James has definitely been a bright spark for Leeds since coming on. Hitting the crossbar and forcing a save there from McCarthy. Going towards the bottom right corner. And he could only palm that away, McCarthy. But it was away from danger, which was the most important thing. Throwing, long one, down the Southampton left. Can't be kept by Che Adams. And there's a foul there by Roberts on Manning. The ball was there to be won, and Roberts just pulled Manning back. It's a free kick for Southampton. 95 minutes played. 9 added on, but we'll play a few minutes extra. It's still 1-0 here to Southampton. Adam Armstrong, the current match winner. Gray with the header away from the free kick. Headed out wide by Downs. Kept in by Manning. And eventually goes out of play for a Leeds throw-in here. Roberts takes it and throws it across to Rodon. Turns away from Adams. We're still in the Leeds half here on the near side. Roberts, high ball forward. Looking in behind here towards Rooter. And it'll go through for McCarthy instead. Off his goal line to get the ball in his two hands. And just relieve the pressure for Southampton. He's out of contract at the end of the season. Alex McCarthy, the 34-year-old goalkeeper who's had to come in at the end of the season to cover for the injured Gavin Bazunu. Gray tries the clearance, deflects off Adams, headed forward by Ampadu. And out of play for a Southampton throw-in on that far side. Their fans have this tangible feeling of being there and almost getting across the line. They've got to keep concentration, though, right till the final whistle. Walker-Peters being told to hurry up with his throw-in. Throws it to the box here to Adams. His touch is brilliant, and he gets the knock on the back from Rodon and goes down, and he wins a free kick on the edge of the box. Rodon not happy with the decision, but he went through the back of Che Adams, and more time to be killed here for Southampton. Clear foul. Caught his leg. Give him a push as well on the way down. And if Southampton could get a second, could be game over, but they're not going to cross it. I think they're going to try and find themselves in the corner here. It's now with Che Adams trying to go towards the corner flag if he can. He finds his way to it. That's his new home, but he overruns it. Goal kick. almost got to the corner flag, but the touch was just overhit. And Leeds need to go forward. We'll probably play 2 or 3 more minutes added on from the 9, so we'll probably play until about 102. So about 5 minutes they've got left here. Leeds go long down the left-hand side. It'll hold up for Anthony, but headed away by Harwood Bellis. Throw-in for Leeds. They do have a long throw-in. Connor Roberts coming across from right back to the opposite side here to launch this one into the box. Something needs to drop for Leeds here. The outcome of their season all lies on this next 5 minutes of football. Roberts, long throwing. The keeper's coming for it. He punches well on the penalty spot. And he gets distance on it as well, right to the halfway line here. Now to Archie Gray. Down the line now for Anthony. Can he get it back in the box? He can with a cross which deflects. And it'll be cleared by Downs. Forward for Armstrong, who plays it through now for Aribo, who can charge away for Southampton. Pretty isolated on his own on the left-hand side. Holds it up. He's been made to go back here, Aribo, into his own half here. And it's cleared forward by Stevens. He'll be manning to chase it. Gray will see that out. And it's a Leeds United throw-in. 30 seconds left of added on time. But we'll play it a little bit extra. 98.5 minutes played at Wembley. It's Leeds 0, Southampton 1. Roberts takes the throw-in and he throws it back to Meslier in the 18-yard box. And they need to push forward now, Leeds. Ball goes forward, down the middle of the pitch. Header won there by Bednarek. Out wide to the Leeds right, taken over by Roberts. Right-footed, cross, in the box. Anthony controls it with his arm and the free kick's given. What an opportunity that was for Leeds. The cross by Roberts found Anthony. It was just behind him and it's just come off his upper right arm. He's shaking his head, but he's given the referee a decision to make and he's given it against Leeds United. So we've played the 9 added on, but we will play a few more minutes extra, I'm sure of it, to compensate for the injuries we had at the start of the added on time with Walker-Peters and James. McCarthy kicks it long down the Southampton left. Header won by Rodon, helped on by Piru. Joseph in the centre circle, Reuter on the centre circle. Finds Ampadu, curling it out wide left. That's a brilliant ball to James. That is unbelievable. James on the left wing in the final third, goes on the outside of Walker-Peters, crosses it in, and it's a volley away to the halfway line for Leeds. And Ampadu heads it back because Che Adams was on his case. We've now played 100 minutes now at Wembley. Southampton lead by a 1-0. Ampadu tries to switch out to the right-hand side. That's tired. It's really tired. And it rolls out of play for a throw-in for Southampton. Still got another minute or 2 to play. But that is a really, really tired Ampadu pass. I don't think he knew what he was trying to do there with that ball across the pitch. And Stevens has a throw on him. So Stevens can throw this long and far for Southampton, who haven't got long left to defend. Stevens throws it down the left-hand side. Goes beyond Adams. Hooked forward by Rodon. Straight to Downs, who heads it out to the Southampton right, where it's been dealt with by James. And it's now Ampadu who gets the ball on top of his foot. And he goes down over the challenge of Downs. And there'll be a free kick for Leeds, and it's not been taken quickly there. Because Aribo got in the way, and Ampadu's kicked him. Aribo will be booked for slowing down the start of the game. And Armstrong there took his shirt off because he thought the referee blew for full time. So Armstrong's had to get his top back on. He's gone a bit early there, the goal scorer. I hope for his sake that Southampton don't concede now, because he thought that was the final whistle. The final whistle's coming up very shortly. Meslier sends the free kick forward to the edge of the box. Header won for Southampton, and the whistle's blown. Now he can take his shirt off and celebrate. Southampton shine at Wembley in the playoff final, and they are promoted back to the Premier League. Leeds, in their 6th playoff attempt, have once again failed to get promotion. They are cursed in the playoffs. 6 attempts, 6 failures. and they remain in the second tier of English football. Plain and simple, it's a Leeds United disaster of a season. Leicester and Southampton have left them behind in the Championship. Those two relegated clubs have found themselves straight back up. But for Leeds, in very Leeds fashion, have not been able to go straight back up. They will remain in the Championship for another year. Full credit to Southampton. They were absolutely magnificent today under Russell Martin, who set up his team in the best way possible. They didn't finish the season very well. A little bit of shaky form, which made them drop off that automatic race. But very cliche, but it's very true. They say the best way to be promoted is via the playoffs. And Southampton will know that feeling now for the very first time. It's only their second ever playoff campaign. Their first one, they were knocked out in the semi-final stage by Derby in 2007. And in his first ever game at Wembley, Adam Armstrong scores the only goal of the game to seal Southampton's promotion back to the promised land of the Premier League. Just simply was not Leeds United's day. They started quite brightly, caused Southampton early issues, but once Southampton got their grip in the game, Southampton just really cancelled out the Leeds movement, the Leeds patterns of play, shut down spaces really well, pressed well, made it hard for Leeds to play through the Southampton team. And it is a party that will not just go on through the night, it will go through into the bank holiday Monday tomorrow for these Southampton supporters. Thoroughly deserved. The much better team in the game. Of course, they had to defend a lot in the second half. That's natural when you're defending a one-goal lead in a game like this. But even when they didn't have the ball, they looked really strong at the back. And when they went forward, they looked dangerous every time, especially with Adam Armstrong leading the line. Rode their luck near the end. James hitting the crossbar. But sometimes you need that luck. It came off the underside of the crossbar for James. And instead of going behind the goal line, it bounced in front of it and away. Another donation, Jimbo. Mate, honestly, it's absolutely insane, the donations you give. It's so appreciated. You've funding the channel on your own here. It's crazy. Thank you so much. Congrats to Southampton. Have a great night. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, your donations are more than appreciated. Thanks to everyone who did join and stuck around and watched. I hope you all enjoyed. A decent amount of you stayed throughout the entire game, which was nice to see. And it is Southampton who have been promoted. It's their first ever playoff final. And they've won it. Only needed one goal. And the first ever meeting between these two sides back in August 1922 was a 1-0 Leeds win. The most recent meeting between these two on the 26th of May 2024. It's a Southampton 1-0 win. And what an occasion for the Saints. It's not been easy having to try and chase down those top three teams. Couldn't quite keep up with Ipswich and Leicester. But they ended the season in touching distance of Leeds. There was only 3 points that separated the two teams after Southampton beat Leeds on the final day at Ellen Road by 2-1. And now they can celebrate. There's Will Smallbone, a Southampton supporter, joined in 2008, played his 50th game of the season, scored the first goal in the semi-final in the second leg against West Brom. He was magnificent tonight as well. And Southampton back up at the first time of asking. What a job Russell Martin's done. His team have scored 100 goals this season. They've conceded 71. They've won 30, only lost 13. And what a day. What an occasion. What a performance. Really well set up by Russell Martin, who gets his 6th promotion of his career. 5 of them came as a player. First real achievement now as a manager, and he's only at the age of 38. Retired and became MK Dons manager in November 2019, and his managerial career has only ever gone up, really. He went from MK Dons to Swansea in the Championship, now up to Southampton, where he was given the funds and the team to really push on to try and be promoted as manager, and he's achieved it via the playoffs. Thoroughly deserved for Southampton. It's complete heartbreak again for Leeds United. 6 playoff attempts, 4 finals, 0 promotions. It's the worst way to lose. It does not get any harder than losing a playoff final, especially for teams like Leeds, who travel so far to Wembley to then have to travel so far back again and not have anything to celebrate, and instead they have to look forward to another campaign in the Championship. They spent 3 seasons back in the Premier League, relegated last season. They thought they could go straight back up. They brought in a title-winning Championship manager in Daniel Farke. He won the league twice with Norwich. The league title was on for them at the end with 5 games to go, but they ran into bad form, which slipped them in the playoffs, and they couldn't quite get it done in the playoffs. Southampton have got the better of them, and it's complete and utter delight for Southampton, and it's complete heartbreak for Leeds United as here at Wembley. After well over 100 minutes of football, it ends here. Leeds United 0, Southampton 1. Adam Armstrong, the match winner, scoring his 24th goal of the season in the league. And they can well and truly enjoy this bank holiday Monday. These Southampton players, supporters and staff. And in one of the toughest ever Championship seasons in terms of the teams that were in the league this season, Southampton have done very well to rebound after a shocking season in the Premier League last time out when they finished 20th, to get themselves back in the mindset of winning football matches and getting themselves straight back up. And they'll definitely want to prove to everyone that that season in the Premier League when they were relegated bottom was just a one-off season. They want to get themselves back as a well-established Premier League side. But thank you to everyone who did join. I really hope you enjoyed the final club commentary of the season. I can't remember how many we've done this season, but we have done so many commentaries. I have absolutely loved every single second of each game. Of course, we've had our 0-0s and we've had our boring games here and there. But that comes with football. But we've had some absolutely fantastic games. And we've covered on the Championship playoff final, the League 2 playoff final, the National League playoff final, the League Cup final, Manchester City's final day win to win the Premier League. We've commented on so much, and it's going to be the same again next season. We're going right at it next season. We're starting again. It'll be around, I'm presuming, the start of August when the club football starts again. But don't leave this channel alone now for the next couple of months. Stay around, because 3 weeks' time, we've got the Euros coming up, and we've already got some Euros commentaries ready. These are the games I'm going to be doing in the group stages at the moment. Could change, but we're going to be doing the likes of Spain against Croatia. And I commentated on that game in the last Euros when they were against each other in the last 16. And Spain won that 5-3 in extra time. So we've got Spain, Croatia, Portugal against the Czech Republic, the Netherlands against France, and then Croatia, Italy. So some big games coming up on the channel. So we are going to have a 3-week break from commentaries. But then, in 3 weeks' time, we'll be back again for the Euros. And then after the Euros, we'll have another little tiny break. And then we'll be back again for the club season, for the 24-25 campaign. But thanks to everyone who's watched during the season, who's donated, who's liked, subscribed, anything that's helped the channel. It is very appreciated. I hope your teams have done well this season. If they haven't done that well, I hope they have a better season next time around. But that will be the end of the live commentary here. I hope you did enjoy. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Turn the notifications on so you know when those Euros commentaries are going to be taking place. But here at Wembley, Southampton finished below Leeds in the table, but they'd beat them twice in the league, and they beat them again. It's 3 wins in a row for Southampton against Leeds United. Leeds tried, they hit the bar at the end, but the Southampton winner from Adam Armstrong in the 24th minute was enough for promotion. They have done it. They are back up at the first attempt, and here at Wembley, it's finished. Leeds 0, Southampton 1, and Southampton are back in the Premier League.